Hey everyone, this is rose-emoji from playingpioneer.com. I'm back with KarnageKardsENT, and we're back for our third installment of Lead the Way. We're back to the original format, somewhat. So the first week we played Esper Greasefang, and I played on the practice ladder, and Karnage kind of guided me through the gameplay. Last week we did blue-white control, and Karnage played through a league, and I kind of was there to bounce lines off of and for me to ask questions. This time I'm going to be playing a league with Karnage leading the way. The idea of the video series in the first place. So this week we're playing Niv To Light, which I'm super excited for. There's just so many one-ofs, like when I was renting this deck and just like looking at it, there's just like, it's a toolbox deck and I'm really excited to play it. Like the intention of the video series, this is a deck I've never played before. I've played against it quite a bit. I've lost to it quite a bit. But yeah, Karnage, how you doing?
Not bad. Super happy to be back. Excited to do this one. I think this is everyone's favorite deck, and it's been around since the beginning of Pioneer also, which is very cool.
Yeah. And I got to start the video by saying happy birthday, Karnage.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Confetti flying. I'm editing in confetti right now and balloons. And so yeah, let's do what we always do and kind of talk about the deck a little bit before we jump into some games. So I don't know if you want to start with the mana base. We could probably go on for a long time about the mana base.
Yeah. I won't say too much about the mana base. The mana base at this point is pretty much like stock. It wasn't me who did all of this work on it. There's a ton of people out there who are playing Niv To Light and have been for long periods of time. And the mana base is pretty much set at this point. The only things you'll notice that seem maybe a little bit strange is that there's a forest and a plains, and the reason you're playing the forest and the plains is because you play Yasharn. So you want to be able to at least fetch one or both. If you weren't playing Yasharn, you probably just wouldn't play any basics at all.
Is Yasharn in there to shut off Jund Food and Rakdos Anvil and stuff?
Exactly. So especially game one, they generally don't have too much that even outright answers it, besides revolting their fatal push, which if you just don't block or don't let any of their stuff die, they can't get rid of. But that's it. I mean, generally the deck, why Niv To Light has been successful from the entirety of Pioneer is that it is a toolbox deck. It's the best way you can play a toolbox deck, where you get to play some of your sideboard cards in the main deck, and you have 5 copies of each of them, because Bring to Light counts as copies, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you are able to play some of these silver bullet cards like Yasharn, and many others as we'll go through. You've got Notion Thief, which is good against a lot of the Phoenix decks, the Jeskai Ascendancy deck, same as the Hidden Strings deck. You've got Culling Ritual, which stock has went through the roof in the past little bit with those Anvil decks, the Jund decks, and it just has some utility against some of the creature decks too. Even Winota plays a lot of 1 or 2 mana creatures, so you get to kind of snag them all off, and you can follow that up with the mana left over with Caryatids, the Celestus, things like that. Some of the other silver bullets you've got in there are Unmoored Ego, Shadow's Verdict, Extinction Event, Clothis. There's just so many. Omnath. There's lots of things you can get for lots of different matchups. Some of the decisions are always rotating in and out depending on the meta. My deck is a little bit more tuned to beating up on the creature decks, as I thought that was going to be kind of the shift that we would see with blue-white being so popular, is some people would be trying to get underneath of it with very quick aggro decks. And so my main board is kind of tuned a little bit more to doing that.
Great. Yeah. And so what archetype would you put this deck in?
This is definitely like a mid-range deck. So it's, it's not really great against the control decks, but it's really, really good at beating up on the creature decks, especially in game one. So it's definitely like a mid-range deck, but what's really, really great about it is that it's able to play like silver bullet cards that are good against kinds of things. So you never really feel 100% out of any game because you at least have one copy of something in your deck that can help out in the matchup. So you try and diversify, especially in the main board, those silver bullet cards, and you can kind of key in on them in the sideboard afterwards, like very specific to a matchup. The card I've been most impressed with that's like slightly new to this deck is the Celestus. So you're not able to hit it off of Bring to Light. It doesn't share any colors, so you're not getting it with Niv Mizzet. It's really in there just because I think it's a really, really good card in the deck. It fixes, it's able to cycle through some lands, so as you notice, we are playing 27 lands because making our land drops is important, but we do end up a lot of times with extra lands in our hand, and the added value of gaining a few life is something that this deck is missing. We really only have the Celestus and Omnath to gain any kind of life, so we need some of those incremental little touches as we kind of try and set up our game and then go over the top of those decks. So we do take quite a bit of damage. We'll see in the videos coming up. Okay,
great. So starting right at the top real quick, can you explain the interaction between Valki, God of Lies, and Bring to Light?
Yeah. So
and I just feel like we should point it out here.
Yeah, so it's not an obvious one. You would think like, oh, you can't hit Tybalt, which is the other half of Valki, because it's a 7-drop, and Bring to Light only allows you to get 5 or less, depending on the amounts of colors that you spend into it. But it's this like little, I guess, loophole you can call it, where you're able to go search for a creature, instant, or sorcery with converted mana cost less than what you paid. So Valki meets those requirements, and then once Valki hits the stack, you're able to choose which side of Valki that you're actually casting, so you get to cast Tybalt. It's reminiscent to when he first came out and people were cascading into him like crazy in Modern and things like that. That's that cool interaction where you're able to kind of cheat him out a little bit earlier. And he helps too on the mana base, because if you don't have all 5 colors and you can't get a Niv, you really only have to be able to have green and blue to be able to grab him off of Bring to Light.
Great. Yeah. And while I was renting the deck, I noticed it's like 126 tickets, which isn't so bad. But how is this deck on paper, like price wise?
Price-wise on paper, it's probably on the higher end of Pioneer decks, and that's only because the lands are going to set you back, really. So the problem on paper versus MTGO is MTGO, the lands are a little bit less expensive than they would be in real life. So that brings the price of this deck down. But on paper, these lands are going to cost you a bit. The triomes are, going up slowly almost every day now, and you've got shock lands in there too, so the price kind of goes up, but it's not horrible price wise, just definitely on the higher end for Pioneer. But on MTGO, very, very cheap for a very, very competitive deck.
Okay, let's get into the sideboard a little bit. Are there any changes that have been made kind of like to interact with the current meta, and what is the current meta post Lurrus ban?
So pretty much what I tried to do was focus really, really hard on being able to beat the blue-white control matchup, just because that's by far the worst matchup for a deck like this, a mid-range deck that, a counterspell really sets us really far back. So normally you'll see in a lot of Niv decks, you'll see 3 Fatal Push in my Thoughtseize spot. I said we're already really good against the creature decks, and without Loris, we don't need to have that crazy amount of removal, because once we remove things once, they're probably going to stay removed, where Loris, you know, you always had that in the back of your head that like they could come back and you're going to need this like high density of removal spells. So I switched those in for Thought Seizes, which I think are really, really good in the control matchup, as they help you clear the way to be able to land some of your important spells like Bring to Light or Niv in those matchups. I'm also playing a Thought Distortion because that card is incredible against them. You see Dovin's Veto, Notion Thief, Deafening Silence. There's just so many cards in the sideboard that I'm using mostly for the control matchup. Surok is another one for the control matchup, as he makes all of your creatures uncounterable, and him himself, he's uncounterable. So you'll see just by looking at the sideboard, I'm really focused on the control decks and some of those like maybe bad matchups like Hidden Strings and stuff like that. You don't see many creature hate cards in here. The only one being another Culling Ritual is my only other like creature hate. The rest of the stuff is mostly for our bad matchups, which are those big mana decks and control decks.
All right, great. Yeah, let's get into it. So again, we're gonna play a league tonight. Karnage did top 8 a challenge with exactly this deck today. Exactly this list. I did it a few hours ago. Okay, yeah. So if I fumble this, it's on me. So, so yeah, let's get into a league. All right, we're gonna queue up for our first league match.
Wow, fast.
Super fast. Pioneer's been popping.
It has been popping.
The practice ladder, the leagues, very short queues.
It's a great format now. Oh, fast and easy. We are definitely not keeping this.
Yeah.
So this is a great hand. So mostly what you're looking for, especially in game 1, is carry added. If you've got carry added and a way to cast it on turn 2, you can practically keep any hand from there. It's the way that it enables us the most to get all of our like good starts going. And when you don't know what they're playing against, you're definitely going to keep it. So we'll keep this here. We'll probably throw back a Triome. I'm trying just to check the colors. We'll throw back the Rugen Triome, since we'll need probably some more black and red for the Dreadbores.
Okay.
So we'll lead on the Triome.
Yeah. The mana sequencing is going to be a rough one.
It's the most important thing. I'll try and do a lot of talking about it. It's the most important thing with Niv To Light, is being able to sequence your mana perfectly, because you'll find a lot of times you lose just on that. So we can actually play the Sun Petal Grove here to get us our green. This way we don't take any damage, and we're going to cast our carry added. The only negative part to this is that it doesn't allow us to double Dreadbore next turn.
Right.
But we did save 2 life, which will probably be important, as it looks like we're probably playing some sort of mono red variant here.
Mm-hmm.
This is good for us, though. We're going to take only 2 damage. We're going to be able to block the Soul Scourge if they brought it in with confidence, knowing nothing's going to die. Got the card that we need on top there. So what we're going to do here is we're going to play the Sulfur Falls.
Okay.
This is going to allow us again to save as much life as possible. So we'll be able to Dreadbore the Eidolon.
So I'm getting the black from the Triome?
Yeah, from the Triome, and the red from the Sulfur Falls.
Okay.
So more than likely, it sounds crazy to say, but this game is pretty much over. This is how much better the Niv decks are against these creature decks. Is next turn we're going to be able to Bring to Light. This is a pre-sideboard game, so they don't have anything like Vortex. They probably don't have Skull Cracks, so we're going to gain life. We're going to get something big on the battlefield. It's just going to be all around good for us here.
Jeez. Oh wait, did they reveal an Obosh? No.
Nope.
Okay.
So the only bad part here is it looks like we're going to have to actually take the damage, as we're not going to give up our Caryatid here. They do have the possibility of casting a 1 mana instant, so we're just going to take the 4.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't afford to lose the Caryatid at this point. It's too important. It's going to allow us. So they did actually have something to cast. This is going to allow us this turn to go out, get a removal spell, and gain some life all in one swing with 2 creatures. Okay. So we're gonna play the Overgrown Tomb untapped. Yeah, untapped is what I meant. Yeah, 2 life. And then we're going to use all the colors, so we need to make sure we're getting all the colors from everything here.
So blue here.
Yeah, blue there. We could get green or black off that one.
Yeah, green, white.
Yeah. Yep, and then the lasting color from our friend, which is red.
Yeah. Okay, done? Yeah. Done.
Yep. And we're gonna go get our friend Tolsimir. Right above Unmoored Ego there, underneath the Caryatids.
Oh, yeah. Okay, friend of wolves. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So he's going to gain us 3 life. He's going to put 2 creatures onto the battlefield, and he's going to remove one of their creatures. He's very, very good in these mono red matchups. So we're going to kill the Soulscar Mage. It's important as that's the one that leaves behind -1/-1 counters on damage. So something like a Wild Slash could kind of get us on a wolf if we block or something. Now we're pretty confident here. So it does shrink our wolf as they fight each other, and it deals damage in 1/1 counters, but still we get the 3 life. We've killed it, and we've got a 2/2 and a 3/3 now ready to block.
We're passing turn here.
Yes, we are. So the reason we play a lot of Triomes too, like I said, is we do draw a lot of lands. So say next turn we could do something like Dreadbore. Yeah. If we draw another land, we can play that land and then cycle to Triome 2 to get some more action. So Triomes are really, really important in this deck, as we need a way to sometimes get rid of those extra spells. So they're going to play a big Bone Crusher Giant here. But as you see, we've pretty much stabilized at this point. They're at 1 card in hand, and
another Bring to Light.
Another Bring to Light. Oh, we're gonna do it. So we're gonna go get the namesake card here. We're gonna go get ourselves a Niv Mizzet.
All right. So let's add blue here.
Black there.
Black there. Green here.
Yeah, and white or red from this one.
And then red.
And red. Yep.
Whew.
The hardest part. It's the hardest part.
This is one of those instances where I feel like I would be much less afraid if I was doing this on paper.
Get ourselves a nice Niv. Yeah. So we'll get this. This is going to refill our hand, restock it all up with some action, hopefully, unless we're very, very unlucky.
Culling Ritual, Abrupt Decay.
We'll take the Culling Ritual as it's going to allow us to remove at least a good portion of their board. Notion Thief looks bad here. We'll play out the land, the Triome, as now we're looking to make a few plays turn. And we'll pass the turn, again, keeping our life total high. We don't need to start attacking at this point.
Okay.
We're mostly going to just overwhelm them into a concede. It's probably not going to be through damage.
So Roiling Vortex makes our life pretty miserable, right?
Makes it pretty miserable, but we have a lot of answers to it that are just naturally in the deck. We have 3 Abrupt Decays, 2 Vanishing Verses. So we have stuff that just naturally answers that, so we don't worry too much about it. So sideboard, this is what I was saying before, is I don't have much for a lot of these creature decks, as I think the matchups are just really good on paper for us. Normally, I just go through the deck and I think, what are cards that are really, really bad in this matchup? And then I take those out and see if I've got anything that's going to jump in here. Notion Thief is terrible. It's not going to do anything whatsoever for us. And Unmoored Ego is really, really bad too. There's not like a particular card we're looking to get rid of out of their deck. It's in the 3 drops there.
Okay.
There you go. So we've got 2 slots. Pretty much everything else is pretty good in this matchup. We've got a lot of sweepers. We've got a lot of spot removal. We're going to bring in that other Culling Ritual, as that's also a way that answers the enchantment. And then we need one other card. There's 2 ways.
Or
yes. So you can either bring in Hizuku or you can bring in a Thoughtseize. I know it sounds kind of weird, but it normally will trade like up on damage, as it can take like a 3 mana burn spell or something like that. And on the play, I'd rather have the Thoughtseize. On the draw, I'd rather have the Thoughtseize, as it can take out the Rolling Thunder out of their hand. Rolling Thunder? Is that what it's called?
Roiling Vortex.
There we go. Rolling Vortex. I was very off. And we'll submit from there.
All right. Yeah. The soul 1-drop in the deck.
Yeah, the soul 1-drop. It's going to look bad when you draw it late. Oh, wow.
Wow.
So this is not a good hand. This is pretty good. It's not great, but it's good enough. We're not going to go down to 5 here, so we'll keep this one.
Okay.
We're going to keep all the lands, as we want to make sure we hit all of our land drops. Probably the worst card in our hand is Nahiri, just because, it's really only trading 1 for 1, and it's 4 mana to do that.
They said they hit the wrong button. I don't know if that means they meant to mulligan.
Oh, looks like a good start, so.
Yeah. Maybe not that.
So another important thing to remember about this deck is you always want to lead on being able to play a turn 2 Caryatid if you draw it. So we want to lead on the Zygoth Triome, because we want to be able to have green next turn. If we draw one off the top, we're casting Caryatid. It's almost like the natural thing that we do is we play that on turn 2 almost. There's almost no situation where we wouldn't. So you want to lead on your green sources as much as possible. So it's really good for us here if they don't cast another creature, as it allows us to kind of keep that board clean on the draw. If they cast another creature here, we're going to be taking constant damage. So this is good. This is good for us. It doesn't look like it, but it's pretty good. We're still only going to be at 16 at the end of this turn, which is not so bad in a mono red matchup. So we're gonna play the Glacial Fortress here, as it allows us to cast our Vanishing Verse, which we will probably do on their turn. There's not really an upside to doing it now, and we can maybe trick them into thinking that they can trigger their Skewer the Critics.
Yeah.
Because they're incentivized to try and cast that spell. So that's not great for us, but we're still gonna hit the. We'll still hit the Soulscar Mage here, as it's actually the most damage up front.
Okay.
So this is good for them. They're gonna add 1 mana. They're gonna be able to cast a Skewer for 3 for 1 because of the Chandra, but we're still in a decent spot. So now we can hit the Vanishing Verse on that.
Which one's giving me black? This one.
Yes.
White. Okay.
So another Abrupt Decay isn't terrible. The problem here is that we need to use the Mana Confluence to be able to hit the Chandra, which is going to hurt us a little bit.
Do we? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Are we doing that?
Yep, we're going to do that. We can't let the Chandra keep going, as it's adding a mana advantage and some damage. It's going to cost us 1 damage, leaving it alive anyway.
Is there a reason to not do it right now?
Well, we need to do it right now because we could do it on upkeep if we want to get like really, really fancy. But I don't really think there's anything in their deck that rewards us for waiting.
Okay.
So even though we've taken a ton of damage and we were on the draw, we're still at 10. They only have 4 cards. We have another removal spell, and we have a Yasharn, which can kind of gum up the battlefield. So another Chandra.
Yeah, and we have another Abrupt Decay.
Yeah, it's really the little incremental damages that we're taking here that are going to hurt. We're going to have to use that Mana Confluence again. So we'll play the Inditha Triome, as it's the one that we need to try and take the least amount of damage, and we're going to have to hit that with the Abrupt Decay.
The Chandra or the
Chandra? Yeah, the Chandra.
Black. Green.
Yeah. We hit the Chandra here because the Ritual can get the Soulscar Mage next turn, and hopefully maybe more things.
Okay.
But I just finished saying we were in a good spot, but it's getting worse and worse as we're taking these small little points of, and they have another Chandra. So I don't know what button they hit that was wrong, but it definitely wasn't Mulligan, because the on the play Soul Scarmage.
They said guess the 3 Chandra worked out.
Okay, so they drew 3 Chandras. That actually hurts. Oh wow. And the fact that they keep being able to play something off the 1 mana from the Chandra too is really putting us far behind. Thought it was going to be clunky. Well, it's looking good. Going to 4. It's going to be really tough from here. The Culling Ritual at least cleans up some of it. Do we get any points for playing the... Yeah, we get to save some life, so I guess we'll play the Plains instead of the Triome, and then we'll Ritual.
Okay. Black.
Yeah. The Ritual will allow us to clean up 2 of their permanents, but the Chandra is still a problem. We're 1 burn spell away from dead here. Adding the mana isn't important. We're not going to get enough left over to play the Yasharn, but it was close.
Yeah, right.
It's definitely been a good addition to the deck. Most of these decks are playing a lot of little things, and had we been able to follow up that turn with Yasharn, it would have looked really good. But like I said, we're very close to dead here. We're dead here.
Yeah, we're dead on.
We're not dead, but we're dead. There is really not. We can't use our mana confluence.
Dreadboard kills this. Yasharn doesn't do anything.
Yeah. So a good draw by them. 3 Chandras was really tough to beat. The fact that they kept playing something with the Chandra mana was also really good. That really ended up getting us. So I would take out the Thoughtseize now, and I would bring in the Hideku. I'm probably butchering that name. And we'll go back.
Is there a case for Campbell, or is my brain just...
I mean, there's like slightly a case for it, but a lot of the times it's just going to end up eating a removal spell, gaining 2 life. It's okay, but we kind of do this weird thing where we go from like 2 to 4. So 3 drops aren't great.
Okay. So that's only when it's like necessary. Like
yeah, so it's almost exclusively for the Hidden Strings matchup. Just because they don't really play any spot removal and mostly have to play through that.
We have Carthiads and Caryathids.
As weird as it sounds, this is a spectacular hand.
Yeah.
They're great blockers in this matchup. They help ramp us, and we've got the colors to cast them. We can't ask for more. It's not even painful. So we're super good here.
Yeah.
So we'll play out that tome.
Tap.
Tapped, yeah. We could try and show strength of a Fatal Push if we left it untapped. Good 1-drop for us to see. It doesn't really tax our life total that much, so that's good. We'll play the Crag and play out a nice Caryatid. Or Caryatid. I'm not sure how people pronounce that one either.
Caryatid.
Yeah, I like Caryatid better too.
I was playing an Obosh companion version of this red deck yesterday, and I wonder like what is stopping this deck that they're playing right now from being Obosh?
I guess it's the Eidolons and being able to play the Vortex. I guess that's the only thing that they're gaining from that.
Oh, true.
It's in my opinion.
There's a 3 mana that's like sort of an Eidolon if you renown it for 1.
Oh, Scab Clan.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it, Scab Clan.
That's what.
So here we actually have like some pretty decent considerations. So if we play the Steam Vents untapped, we're going to be able to play a Caryatid and a removal spell for the Eidolon. but that ends up costing us 4 life.
Right.
Or we could just remove it, play a tapped land, and pray to God that off the top we draw the other land for our Tulsimir. I'd rather take the damage here. It's 19. It's not that bad. So we're going to remove the Eidolon first, and then play the Steam Vents untapped and play another Caryatid.
Okay. Black, green.
Take the 2. Then untapped, play another one. This puts us in a good spot for next turn. It guarantees that we can cast our Tulsimir. And even if we don't, it allows us to double spell next turn without any damage. So overall decent start. We're going to be able to block this this enchantment too. Mm-hmm. Chandra here. Let's hope they have nothing to cast off of this.
Right, 4 cards.
Oh man, they just always have something. So we drew a forest. It's not a bad draw here. So we're gonna play the Tulsimir here. For 2 reasons. One, we actually want them to cast that other Chandra. It's gonna just kill. If we kill the Chandra this turn, then it kind of like bails them out of being able to cast the second one. Don't use the Caryatid.
Oh, right.
Yeah, keep one of them untapped.
Yeah, I can do that.
You need to use white on the Caryatid.
Shit.
Told you, the mana is the hardest part of this deck. It's the hardest thing that you have to do.
Whatever and whatever. Okay. I did it.
And then we can fight this thing here. And then we'll pass the turn. So like I said, they're incentivized to use the Chandra and the Swift Spear this turn, but they already have a Chandra, so you know, it's had we removed it, we would have kind of bailed them out to give them the option to play both. Like positively here, they can use like a down tick and then like an up tick. Again, I think it's technically 2 upticks on Chandra.
Yeah, she doesn't have a regular down tick.
So gonna use the plus here, play the Swift Spear. So we've pretty much gummed up the ground. We don't really have to worry about much going on the ground at this point. It's pretty much, hopefully they don't have enough burn spells to get us down from 16. We should be able to find some gas at some point here. I'll bring to light or Niv off the top and we'll be golden. So they got 2 cards left. They have this Chandra that they could cast 2 and get like an extra activation out of. But I think they're going to try and keep the Chandra's loyalty high. No, they're going to cast it. They're looking for that prowess trigger. It makes me think that they have a 1 mana spell to use to make these 3 power creatures so that they can effectively get in.
Right.
Yeah. So this looks bad, but it's really not for us.
I love when you say that. It's very reassuring.
So we're actually going to block both of them here.
Okay.
So we're gonna put a Caryatid in front of one and let it die, and then we're gonna double block the other one.
Yep.
So this is still gonna leave us with a 3/3 creature and still 5 mana. So we don't want to go dip under that 5 mana, but we're fine with this exchange. Wow, great draw. Great draw. So we'll play out the Caryatid and we'll Abrupt Decay the Chandra.
Okay.
And we'll leave back the wolf for this turn. just because they could go land Den of the Bugbear, and we'd like to trade for that if we could. Next turn, we'll be able to hold up Vanishing Verse, so we don't have to care too much about it, as we could hit it after that. But like I said, we're not really going to win by like damage. We're going to win just by kind of overwhelming them.
Yeah, like for game 1.
Exactly. There just comes a point where they know they're not going to be able to kill us. And we're at 13. It's a pretty healthy 13 with 2 cards left in their hand. We're looking for spells though. Wow, this is all...
right?
Yeah. I don't think we have a reason to do that. So
yeah,
we can hold on to that, and we can kind of just... we can attack with the wolf here. And then...
Vanishing Verse.
Exactly. We've still got Vanishing Verse up, so we can just attack with it, try and tax their life total a little bit, but it's going to be a while before they actually start chumping. Yeah, we'll hold on to the Consumes All and try and like nab a few other things with it. It's very possible they could play out like a few more 1-drops. They have the Saga and Soul Scar Mages too. Where did they put that? On top or bottom?
Oh.
Do we know? Hopefully bottom.
Bottom.
All right. So this is good for us. We're going to take the 3 here. They're going to attack. We're just going to Vanishing Verse that. We don't want to chump, so.
We need white.
Yep, white and black.
Okay.
All right. Another carry at it isn't great.
Are we playing it out?
Play it. Yeah, we'll play it out. The only way we get punished for this is if we draw like a culling ritual and want to cast it. We're going to leave the wolf back this turn, as, like I said, I'm still afraid of the Den of the Bugbear getting in, so at least this way we can trade with it.
Okay. They have 10 minutes on our clock.
We should be good to finish this one out though, so.
Yeah, and they've been very friendly in the chat.
Ah, here we go. That's a great draw. So we're gonna use the Celestus here. And then we're going to use it right away.
To make it nighttime?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna use it right away. We still get to keep up 2 blockers in this situation.
Should I be
and one of
them like a super sweet nighttime animation in Moto?
No, sadly, we don't have that cool arena one.
Yeah.
So we'll draw a card here. There's a lot of things that are going to be better. We'll pitch the land.
Yeah.
So this is what I was saying in the deck tech. This is a card that I've been really impressed with. This is going to close out the game for us. It's kind of put like a clock on them to be able to like kill us, as we're going to keep gaining 1 life, maybe 2, depending on the turn.
A hard casted 3 mana light up the stage.
Yeah, they know they're not getting in, so let's see what they hit. Another 1-drop, so this is where we'll be able to kind of make that exchange I was talking about, where now we're going to trade, 2 for 2 with it here. So this is good for us too. They're going to attack with the Soul Scar Mage.
And we don't care about this wolf anymore, right?
No, we're just going to put it in front of it. And as we're going to get rid of it. So this is good again. It's going to change from night to day. We're going to gain another life. So all the damage they did this turn, which was just 1, is undone.
Right.
So we will draw, even though, yeah, we'll Yasharn is not so bad though. Oh man. That's not a bad draw. We'll keep the Yasharn.
Okay.
Yeah. And a
We drew a
Dreadbore.
Dreadbore.
So
We're fine.
That was good. So we'll cast the Yasharn.
Still need a card for white, right?
Yep. But we're going to be able to get our white source here, so we won't need it anymore, which is great.
Does this matter? Does any of this matter?
No, not really.
Okay.
You needed to leave up like a red or a black, like to be able to not tap a carry at it, and you did. So no forest. And now grab the planes. Play out the planes.
Casting the Dreadbore or waiting for this to flip?
We're going to wait for that to flip, so we're actually going to change it tonight. We'll gain another life here. So this is what I was saying, is it's kind of put them on this like weird clock where they've got to find a way to kill us before we gain too much life. We will draw.
Yeah.
We don't always, but in this situation, yeah. Dreadbore's good, but still we're looking for a Bring to Light or a Niv really to close out the game. So again, they want to be casting 2 spells a turn, but when they do cast 2 spells, they're going to flip it again and gain us a life. So it's kind of put this weird like tax on the game for them. All right, well that's big.
That's the other Eidolon. This should just be.
Yeah.
I mean, I did think it should with it. I
think it should be Obosh too. I think having an extra card is having an extra card at the end of the day, and this deck is just always looking for like one more card than its opponent to be able to win.
Yeah. Nothing for end step, right? Yeah. Bring to Light.
And we drew a Bring to Light here, so we'll cast that Bring to Light. So Bring to Light is its own. Switch it to daytime as it casts 2 cards.
Oh yeah. Red. White. Perfect. Right?
Yep. Perfect.
What do we grab?
Here we're going to grab a Niv as it'll refill our hand. We don't actually need any life here. We could think of taking something like an Omnath, but we don't have the land.
Culling Ritual, Abrupt Decay.
Abrupt Decay, as we don't want to sweep away all of our Caryatids at this point. And then we'll use the Dreadbore on the Scan Clab. So we'll use our Celestus and 1 Caryatid to cast it.
Okay. Oh, because we don't need the Celestus to make it nighttime or daytime.
Nope, it's already going to switch. And then we're going to attack with the Yasharn here. So we've turned that corner pretty fast here. It's going to switch. We're going to gain a life. Have the opportunity to draw something really cool.
Nope.
Not a land. I think the only reason they're not conceding at this point is because they might try and like cheese us out on clock. Oh, they said GG's though, so. And that's what I was saying is we don't really win by damage, we win by inevitability.
Yeah. Yeah.
In those matchups.
Yeah. So let's instead of doing everything at the end, while it's fresh in our minds, let's talk about that matchup. Let's talk about Burn.
Yeah, so that's what we're trying to do. That's what I was trying to prey on. I thought the metagame at this current point was going to be those types of decks. So either like a designated burn deck, like a Boros Burn or a mono red. These are going to be the decks that are naturally going to prey on the blue-white control decks, which have kind of risen to the top of the Pioneer metagame. And our deck is the ones that are beating up on those decks. You saw in game 1, we were able to find a Tulsamir, gain 3 life, kill a creature, and have 2 creatures left over. That's a card you don't play in your main board if you're not playing a Bring to Light deck. That's a card that is like really narrow in some matchups and not in the others. And it did a lot of work for us in game 1, and then we went to it again in game 2. We're able to find those particular cards to win matchups, and against like very narrow like aggro decks that are on like a very like small game plan, trying to do one thing and aren't able to interact with us. That's where our deck is really, really going to shine. So we're looking for creature decks all day long, as we're just going to be able to beat up on them. Caryatid also was a major all-star in that game. They can't target it. They need to play 2 spells to buff those prowess 1-drops to get over top of it. And a lot of the time that's okay with us too. If we're going to trade it for that, it saves 3 life and made them use their spells. So this was really how we wanted the matchup to go, and this is what we're looking for with this deck.
Great. All right.
Oh no, the Niv Master himself we got paired against. Uh-oh.
Oof.
Uh-oh. Oh, okay. He might be on Niv, he might not be on Niv. All right.
Your end? Yeah.
All right, well, this is a hand that we're going to keep. Again, I'll say it a million times through this video. Game 1, we got a carry added. It can't get better than that. So we'll lead on the Triome.
Okay.
Here, it'll allow us to play our turn 2 carry added, and we only have 3 lands, so we are more than likely going to have to play out all 3 of them, so we won't hold the Triome to maybe cycle it later. But an additional Triome off the top we would maybe consider holding. So we'll play the Glacial Fortress here, as it gives us white, and then we'll play the carry added out. So Steam Vents Yorion doesn't tell us too much. He could be the, I don't know, Transmogrify deck. Could be something. Yeah, something like that. Could still be Niv. Who knows?
What's our dead giveaway? Is Zagoth Triome a dead giveaway to Niv? Is anything else playing that at this point?
Yeah, that's pretty much our dead giveaway. All right, so here we need to consider what are the chances he has a 2-mana counterspell, because playing Nahiri here would be really, really good for us. It would help us filter through some of these cards, and it would be something that we could stick. In the dark, I think we're gonna cast it.
Okay.
So we'll play the Drowned Catacombs.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah, that'll be fine. And then we'll cast the Nahiri. It could get censored or something like that, but at the same time, we want to clear a path for this Bring to Light next turn. So if this is the thing that eats the counter spell, it's not so bad. If it lands, then no complaints either.
Right. Okay.
Dreadbore is going to be really bad if he's on the matchup. We think he is, that Jeskai deck. So we'll throw away the Dreadbore here. Just because they like to do stuff at instant speed, so they want to play out an Omen, make 2 creatures, and then Transmogrify one of those creatures.
Cycling a Shark Typhoon for 0, right?
Yep. So I think we can pretty confidently assume that's the deck he's on right now.
What?
On that Transmogrify deck.
Oh, okay.
I think with him having the Shark Typhoon, the Jeskai lands, and the Yorion, I think that's where we can safely put him on. It's not 100%, but it's probably pretty close. So keeping up this Abrupt Decay is going to be pretty important going forward.
Are we going to tick Nahiri first?
Yeah, we're going to tick Nahiri first here. We don't want to down tick it anyway. We're going to throw away the Watery Grave, as it's kind of the most redundant of the lands we have left. So we could do a few things here. We could play out the Valky, see what's going on in their hand, and kind of make decisions from there. Or we could just try and slam our Bring to Light. It's very unlikely that they have anything for it, since they didn't counter and they don't have up double blue. But we don't have anything that stops what they're doing as a silver bullet card here. We could get Unmoored Ego, but even that, we're naming it in the dark and praying to God that we know what their payoff is. So I think I like leading on Valky for the information.
Okay.
Just to see what the heck is going on over there.
This doesn't matter, right? No.
I don't think the others. Sorry.
We don't really want to draw the Valky ever.
No, drawing the Valky is not really ever something we want to do. So they're on that.
That's beautiful.
So they have no counter spells. They have a Birth. They have a Shark. Okay. So keeping up this Abrupt Decay is going to be probably pretty good for us here. Means we probably can't lose from here. We'll play the Blood Crypt, as it's the only mana source we don't have. We don't need to play it untapped, since we have the Abrupt Decay up. And we'll pass the turn. So they're probably going to use the Valakut Awakening here. Oh, they're going to Shark Typhoon. Okay. So what's good about this deck is that when they target it, we can kill it. So we don't need to kill it in now to make sure that they can't cast the card. Like I said, we can safely pretty much hold up Abrupt Decay here and feel pretty good. They need to kill this Nahiri here, so I'm actually I would use the Abrupt Decay now. It means that with what they currently have in hand, they have nothing that can actually knock this down, and we're going to be able to get a Niv here.
Yeah.
And then Nahiri is done.
It's Claudio.
Oh,
fires is down.
That's a good draw.
Yeah.
That's a good draw. All right, this isn't horrible for us. We're gonna be able to get the Niv. We're gonna be able to hopefully find a removal spell that we can use at instant speed, and then we're gonna feel pretty good here. So we're just gonna go right ahead and get it.
Niv Mizzet.
Yes, sir. Trigger. And then we're swinging. Bringing the house in. So we didn't draw anything that technically kills. I mean, the Kolagon's command could, but if it's like a 3/3 shark, we can't really do anything about it. I would bring to light here for Unmoored Ego, nabbing Agent of Treachery, and at that point we pretty much just can't lose.
Blue. Black.
We don't have to worry too much about the colors, as we're looking for just a 3-drop, so we don't need to
Right.
Unmoored Ego. There we go.
We're searching for Transmogrify. What are we naming?
I would name the agent. It's probably their only hit. And if we are wrong and they have like indomitable creativity too, we could get nabbed there. So I would just name the agent.
Right.
Agent of Treachery. And then they pretty much can't get anything
under our Valky though.
Yeah, that's okay, because they need to wait 3 more turns to be able to cast that off, like kill and then cast it. So I don't worry too much. Oh, they have Wandering Emperor. That's interesting. So they're going to have a really good turn here.
Right.
Niv's coming back to us. The thing is that their life total is nicely taxed here. So it doesn't take us much. We're going to be able to cast the Niv. We know that they're not going to be able to counter anything that we do going forward. Emperor, they're going to probably downtick that on the Valky. Yeah.
And they just have to put it back in the deck. Move Yorion to hand. And then cast Yorion for free. Yeah.
Yep. Now, that Fires of Invention was a good draw for them. It's really put us like in a weird spot. But we have lots and lots of good stuff that we can still do here. Let's just play a Niv.
With a tomb?
Oh no, we can use the Caryatid, and then we'll be able to play the Triome, and then next turn give us like more mana.
Wow, I did it.
First try.
That was a great hit. Okay.
Lots of stuff. So we'll play the Triome out here.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to discard 1 card. It's probably that Tolsimir, as he doesn't do too much. Oh, the good part here is that the Wandering Emperor is not going to be able to buff the Yorion bigger than the Niv, so that's good for us here.
Yeah.
But they have a lot going on. We were really hoping to find like Vanishing Verse there to be able to hit the fires.
Yeah.
Oh, found another Narset.
Transmogrify, Agent of Treachery is still in hand, right?
Yep.
I should have been tracking that better.
Yeah, it's still in hand. It's coming down next turn for sure. So it's going to steal something. So we also want to be like cognizant of what it's going to take.
Is there a reason to Extinction Event here and like, or they?
So what we can do, which is going to be like a fun play here, is we can attack with the Niv. They're not going to block, more than likely, as they kind of want to steal it.
Attack base.
Yep. So they're gonna like want to be able to steal it. Oh, they're gonna block. Yeah, because they want to steal it, I guess. So now what we could do is we could bring to light.
Black, blue. Nope. White, red, blue, green. I must have fucked that up.
It's okay. It doesn't matter because we're gonna cast like a Caryatid to like follow this up afterwards. So no harm, no foul. And then we're gonna cast the Extinction Event to get rid of our Niv. This is like a really cute play, and it probably isn't a good play, but we'll cast it. We'll go on odd.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we're gonna play the Overgrown Tomb untapped, play a Caryatid. Play the Caryatid. And pass the turn. We're more than likely out of this game. They're just doing too many cool things at this point. But they can't really take anything now with the agent, but they're gaining life. They've got an Narset and a Wanderer. Supreme Verdict isn't so bad for us. I guess they're going to play the agent, steal a land. We know they have another Narset in hand.
Right, I need to be
So we know they have an agent, a Narset. And that's it. Yeah, that's all we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're gonna steal a land here. So this isn't too bad for us. We could Niv here.
Are we?
Yeah, what could they? We can Niv here. The Orion's already gone, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so we need white from the Glacial Fortress, red from the Blood Crypt, green.
Blue has to be here, right?
No, it could. All of our lands do soul tie, so we just have to make sure we don't tap the same for all of them. So blue or black. This is blue and then green. Now Niv. Vanishing Verse is going to be good if we're able to untap with it, but chances are they found another fires at this point. All we're going to try and do is be able to kill them here. I don't know if they have another way to flicker the agent.
Main deck Yorians.
I guess that's possible. Oh no, because they only have agent as a creature because that's their only hit, right? So,
Yep.
so I think all they have is Verdict that can kill this Niv. Oh, they're gonna play a. Oh wow!
Very expensive March.
Okay. All right. Going to attack here.
Okay.
All right. Land is good. So we're going to use the Kolagon's command here to deal 2 damage to the Wanderer.
What?
And not get back a creature. I mean, making them discard isn't really that great either. Yeah, we could probably get back a creature. It's probably the best here. We'll get back to Tulsimir. And we'll shoot the Wanderer. And then I guess we can
Sing anything?
no, we'll abrupt decay the Narset here.
Okay.
We'll try and get these out of our hand. They're not doing too much, and this way we kind of choke them off of finding cards. And we'll pass the turn. I'm going to take another 5 here, but Tulsimir is going to be able to more than likely trade with the Samurai token. Yeah, they're going to play their Wanderer. Plus on that, that's good. Take 6 here. So we're just going to try and bleed their resources completely out.
That doesn't do anything.
No. So yeah, we'll Tulsimir here. Green, white, and then doesn't matter. Fight the Samurai. Let's hope they don't have a massive Shark Typhoon here. They've already used 2 of them. We can F6 through this turn, save some clock, because we don't got anything to do. We're gonna take the 4. And then we can attack the Wanderer here. That incentivizes them to use the Shark Typhoon now if they do have one. And then we're going to we can play the Clothis here. Yeah, we'll play the Clothis. And hold up Abrupt Decay or Vanishing Verse. Oh, this is great for us. So we're gonna Vanishing Verse that now.
Mm-hmm.
This is great. It's exactly what we wanted. So now it puts them having to, oh wow, another Wanderer, Jesus. I think that's all 4 of them now.
All right, what are we hitting on this upkeep?
I don't think it matters at all. So just anything.
Land, right?
Yeah, just anything. Gain some life here. We can Yasharn. want to keep up green and black, so I'd untap that. And use, whichever one there, leaving up a black and a green so that we could abrupt decay if we need to. Forest, plains, play the forest, pass the turn.
We're rubbing up against the clock again.
Yeah.
Are we abrupt decaying anything?
Nope.
Okay.
So eat anything.
Oh,
And then we're gonna culling ritual here. It's gonna eat up both of their small creatures. Use the forest and anything here. Get black, green, black, we can use the mana to cast the Notion Thief here. And blue, green, blue, and the white. Cast it, and now we attack with the Yasharn at the Wanderer.
mm-hmm.
And then we'll play out the Dragon Skull Summit. Pass the turn back. So they need a Supreme Verdict, which they very possibly could have in hand. Yeah, there we go. Another fires.
I mean, his Clothis just kills him eventually, right?
Yep.
The idea.
Oh, Bring to Light is fantastic here. We're gonna play the plains out. Use the plains, the forest, and then the rest of the mana that we need. Red. Gun. Yep.
Grab
Get
it.
our Niv. Yep. Cast our Niv.
No.
Hit nothing. And pass the turn. Oh.
I love Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Do we need to kill that right now? No?
No, we can actually just kill the Fabled of Mirror Breaker there. The actual enchantment.
Yeah.
Eat anything.
Okay.
Attack. Does he have a Shark Typhoon? No. So this is good for us. Now we'll cast the Expressive Iteration. I'll hold that in hand.
Yeah.
Cast the Iteration. We'll take the Vanishing Verse and bottom the Sun Petal Grove and play the Omnath.
Okay. Green, white,
blue,
red.
Draw card. Play the land. Tapped. And pass the turn. And hopefully they have nothing here. Supreme Verdict would be really annoying. Omen is fine. Supreme Verdict would be annoying. If they don't have anything, they're dead.
Oof.
Both bottom, that's good for us. They can only cast one more spell here. Is it Verdict? No. Eat something. And then we're gonna cast the Shadow's Verdict. I know that sounds weird, but it clears away the token, and then it means both things are lethal attackers, which means one Shark Typhoon, or two Shark Typhoons don't do it either. And now we attack.
Settle? Settle? Shark Typhoon.
No, Shark Typhoon. So we're gonna kill this one with the Vanishing Verse.
Yeah.
Hopefully this kills him. Boom.
All right.
All right, up against it on the clock. So things we're going to bring in here are the Thought Seizes, the Dovin's Veto, the D-Spark, let's see, what else?
Make any sense with the tokens that they need to transmogrify?
No, because we're gonna keep in things like Culling Ritual and stuff. We don't want to have too many of those effects. So cards we're definitely going to take out are Yasharn is no good here. Tolsimir is no good here. Omnath is no good here. And we could probably trim down on the Dreadbores, as they don't really do anything at all.
Leave
both of them? No, both of them. We don't need them. If we're killing their creature, it's already done its damage at this point on our own turn. And then we're probably going to cut the Shadow's Verdict also.
Okay.
And it's a tough last one. So we could bring in something like Notion Thief to grab like the omens and stuff like that. We could bring in Thought Distortion to like rip apart their hand. At the end of the game, we could bring in something like Deafening Silence, which is almost like your fires only casts like one card. But I think here we'll bring in the Notion Thief just because it attacks and it could finish the game out quick as we're pretty low on the clock. But I think Thought Distortion might be a little bit better. But if we're waiting until turn 6, we're probably going to lose this game.
To the clock. Yeah.
Might be able to steal this one quickly though. This is a good opening hand though, so we'll keep it. We'll lead on the Savai Triome. We have no green, which I guess is bad. Well, we found it, so there.
All right, so I'm just gonna fast play this. Whatever you say, I'm doing.
Sounds good.
We can talk about it after.
So I'll tell you now, we're going to play the Inditha Triome and Thoughtseize here. Drew the Valky, not a good draw. What do they got going on? Omens.
Agent of Treachery, Emperor.
We're gonna take the Emperor here, as it's the only way really to like attack us. They've already got ways to make tokens, so we don't need to worry too much about that. Omen's all right. They find it. This turn we will play out the Dragon Skull Summit and play the Clothis. That's a good draw. And then pass the turn. So if they have the treachery, and we'll just concede right away. Try and save time for a game 3. Doesn't look like it. We'll eat the Wanderer here. Or Barth, doesn't matter. We're going to play the Steam Vents untapped. We're going to use green from the Triome and the Steam Vents. For Caryatid, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, going to play out the Caryatid, green from there, and use the Steam Vents, and then we can hold up Vanishing Verse. If their play here is to just go for Yorion, we can hit the Omen with the Vanishing Verse.
Okay.
And then it's pretty much just a naked 4/5, which looks like that's what they're going to do. Oh, no, fires.
We can banish the fires, right?
Yeah, we'll vanish the Conqueror's Death. That's not so bad, so we'll use the Vanishing Verse on the fires here, but we're in a tough spot.
Oh, shit. I mean, there's no hits for the... Oh, it's 3 or greater. Yeah, that's pretty...
Yeah, it's going to take off this. But this isn't bad, so we're going to be able to kind of like mess up their turn here. So we're going to be able to play out the Valky here and steal the
Yorion.
The Yorion, and then play our land tapped, and we'll be able to cycle the other Triome. So it's kind of like stalls them where they're not going to be able to play the game plan that they're trying to play. They have a Supreme Verdict, so that's actually really bad for us. We'll play out the Triome, pass the turn. Yeah, the Supreme Verdict's going to do some hurting here for us, but it's good because they won't be able to flicker the Elspeth Conqueror's Death. Yep. And now we'll...
Oh, did you want to cycle the Triome first?
Yeah, but it's all right.
Okay. Is it? Or are you just being...
Oh, wow, that's a great draw. So we will Thoughtseize out that Yorion. It's going to cost us 3 to do this, though, but we had no better play.
Oh, right. Elspeth, yeah.
And then we're going to play out our land here because they could just draw land and play Treachery and steal a land. Mm-hmm. And then we won't be able to bring to light. So now they do get to bring back the Yorion, but it's only to flicker the Omen here, which is whatever.
I mean, if we didn't kill the Yorion, they would have just brought back the Emperor, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this way they bring back the Yorion, which is like, okay. So they're probably hoping to be able to steal a land from us. They could steal our... so we'll play the... what do they have in hand? Yeah, we'll play the Bring to Light.
White.
We need green on that.
Red.
Black.
Nope. Shit.
Yeah, we need black.
Black. Red.
Red and blue. Bring to Light. Oh, wow, they drew a counterspell. Oh, this is terrible. All right, pass the turn. So they have a Shark Typhoon, they have an Agent, and they have something else. And a Wanderer, wow. This game's over.
Should we go to game 3?
Yeah, we'll try to win a game 3. Good draws for them. Very, very good. Anything that we want to change here? I don't think so. We'll roll like this. Hope we can mess up their game plan a little bit better. Elspeth Conqueror's Death is really, really good against us here. We'll keep this. Good hand. We'll lead on the Triome.
We haven't actually seen whether it's Transmogrify or Indomitable Creativity, right? I mean, it has to be Transmogrify, right? Yeah.
It's got to be, I guess. It could just be like some like very strange like value deck of it.
Yeah.
We'll play the Glacial Fortress here, and we draw our best card in the deck.
Sylvan Niv To Light.
Oh yeah, best card in the deck. Earth. So next turn we'll play the iteration using the Caryatid for red, the Glacial Fortress for blue, and hopefully just find a land and a spell that we want to keep here.
Yeah.
Notion Thief is going to be good here too. So we'll play the iteration.
What do I need off this?
Red, and then blue off that. All lands. So we will take the Catacombs, bottom the Sun Petal, and exile the Blood Crypt. Playing the Blood Crypt. Tapped. And pass the turn. So we're going to run out of clock, but I actually think that we're very far ahead in this game. Okay. So we're going to play the Triome tapped and hold up either Veto or Notion Thief here. So we have the Veto for if they're going to go for Transmogrify next turn, and the Notion Thief if they go for like an Omen or something. We won't Omen now, just because that would allow them to untap and Transmogrify. But we can play it like at end of turn to force like some action too. But that's it. We're low on clock. We're not going to be able to win this, but I think that we're ahead. Let that happen. So now they can go for Transmogrify.
Yeah, I want to at least see it before we close up here. Nope.
We will counter that. Oh, no.
Yep.
It's all right. We're not going to win on this one here. But yeah, see, we would have been really well set up there. We would have countered the fires. We would have untapped, slam a Niv. Things would look pretty good for us.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, how much of that clock eating was because you're sitting here teaching me how to play this deck?
Oh, for sure. I mean, at the end of the day, it's teaching people how to play the deck and how to sequence it and everything, and that's what's the most important part. It's not about the record at the end. We saw there that we still had like a very, very good chance of winning that matchup. We won game one just by removing everything that they had and just having a much higher threat density than they did. And then game two, they just had like a really, really solid draw. We had seen what they had in hand, pretty much kind of knew that we were going to be able to sequence it away to win the game, and they just drew Veto into Wandering Emperor. Those are like just probably your two best draw steps. And then that game there, like I said, we looked really good. We would have hit the fires. We would have untapped, slammed a Niv, crossed our fingers. There was no agent, Transmogrify into agent. But even if that was the case, they would have stolen the Niv. We would have untapped, played Extinction Event. We would have hit our own Niv and their agent. And it would have left us like mana to spare from that too. And that would have just been a decent exchange for us nonetheless. So I think that we were going to be able to win that game had we had enough clock. And that just showcases the power level of the deck. It really has game against everything. We saw in game one that Unmoored Ego is like what this deck does is it has like a card that you could never play main deck in any other type of deck except for this one, because you get 5 copies of Unmoored Ego and not 1. So it's just really, really good. It kind of showcases that whole cool toolbox thing we were talking about that this deck just has.
Yeah. When it feels a lot better playing this deck when we're not like up against a fast clock, because there are like, especially on Magic Online, like figuring out what colors are represented by your mana on the table like requires me to right click on them. At least for the ones I don't like have committed to memory. But yeah, that play timer is rough.
No, and again, this is definitely a deck that comes with time. Every single decision matters in this type of deck versus, like an aggro deck or even like blue-white control, where, you're pretty much just trying to deny until you go over. This deck just has so many decisions, and like the lands are some of those. Like you have to sequence how you're playing your lands well. You have to, sequence how you're going to remove things versus what you have left in the deck, because you're not playing like 4 of anything. So you can't just say like, oh, I've got 4 abrupt decays or 4 vanishing verses, so like I can use this one here. It doesn't really matter which one because I have 4 more of them. You have a smaller amount of all of these like answers and threats, so you have to use the right ones at the right time too. So like you have to think about your opponent's deck. Like for example, in that mono red matchup, it wasn't relevant to use either vanishing verse or abrupt decay, as that answers everything that they have. But there are other matchups where, like Anvil, for example, where sometimes Vanishing Verse works, but it doesn't hit an Anvil, but an Abrupt Decay does. But a Vanishing Verse does hit, other cards that they have. So you have to sequence those things properly. So it's just a deck full of decisions. So it does take some time and some like playing the deck to get really, really used to it.
Yeah, luckily I get to skip over that today. All right, we are back from a short 5-minute break to play game 3. We're playing Niv To Light with the decidedly very handsome Karnage cards.
I know, the YouTube comments were blowing up for me there. It's nice to see.
Yeah.
Made me feel pretty good. But,
yeah,
I don't do this for the comments.
Yeah, that blue-white control video really. There were probably 60% of the comments were just talking about how handsome you are. I got a little jealous. You'll notice I'm wearing a button up this time instead of just a t-shirt. I have my hair better than I usually do.
I actually dumbed it down a bit. I put on like one of my favorite comfy sweaters, and I was like, I don't want to take away from you. I want people to notice, and it can't always be spotlight on me.
Oh no, they're gonna love it. Yeah, that sweatshirt. I mean, yeah, I'm not even ready for the comments that are coming on this one.
Yeah, I mean, come on, it's my Baby Yoda sweater.
Oof.
All right. We keep this. I know, again, sounds crazy, but we have Caryatid. We can play it on turn 2, and that's as good as it gets when we don't know what we're playing against.
Okay, cool.
It's really that simple. I think that's probably the easiest thing, that if somebody wanted to pick this deck up, you're in the dark, you don't know what your opponent's playing, but you can cast a turn 2 Caryatid, you keep that hand. So this is Winota. Definitely. That's a great draw. We'll lead on the Triome here. They're probably going to be able to get underneath of us, so they can play a 2-drop or 1-drop or something here, and then untap and play Winota before we can interact with it. Oh, not Winota. All right.
I was gonna. Okay. It's like the mono green Planeswalkers deck playing Mystic, and what is this?
No, I think this is like a throwback to like the original like mono green like ramp deck that was running around Pioneer. Yeah. I think this is going like real big.
We're playing against Emrakul.
Yeah, I think this is going big. So we'll play Caryatid.
Okay.
Yeah. So no land drop hurts here. We really need to go like fourth and fifth land, or technically third and fourth land here to be able to get here. But our spells are not looking good at this point. Abrupt Decay is probably not doing much. Culling Ritual looks a tiny bit better now that they played 2 things that it goes into. And Shadow's Verdict's probably not good either. They're trying to go really, really big. So post board, we're going to be really, really good here. Thoughtseize is a really, really good card in this kind of matchup here. So if we draw land here, we're looking really, really good. We're going to be able to sweep away both elves and the oath. I don't know if the oath does much for them. I think it's more of just finding cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So they're going to be at 7 mana next turn.
Seems fine.
I don't even think we can let that happen. So we're going to actually have to Abrupt Decay and hope to draw land off the top. But yeah, we're in trouble here. We're going to have to use the Caryatid and the Tomb here. But yeah, if we just let them untap with 7 mana, they're going to be able to just eat a land, which playing Caryatid puts us in the same spot anyway. Mm-hmm. So we're not good here. We're pretty much conceding. They're going to play the Hydra here, which we also can't deal with. They're going to put another land in. If we don't draw land off the top, we can just concede at this point. Like I said, post board, we're going to be very good in this matchup. We're going to be able to bring in the Thought Seizes, which are going to be big game. On the play is going to help too. Oh, they can actually just do this now with the castle. So yeah, we're just going to concede.
Okay. Yeah.
We're not coming back from this. So very cool. This is definitely a natural predator of a deck that we're that Niv To Light has. We haven't seen this deck in a long time, but we've got some cards here. Thoughtseize is going to look really, really good, and so is D-Spark.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible Dovin's Veto does something, but we can kind of just check out to see what cards we want to bring out, and then we can move from there. So bad cards, Tolsimir does nothing for us. Neither does Notion Thief. Unmoored Ego is like slightly interesting. It would probably be like close to the last cut for me of cards.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, we could use it to kind of nab some things out of their hand. Clothis feels slow here. They have World Breakers that can also answer it pretty cleanly.
Nahiri, too slow?
Nahiri is like okay, just because it can hit like an exile, which is good. Like if we can, we can normally take one hit from like a World Breaker or something and then like, slam the Nahiri and exile. So I would think Nahiri is good. The first card out is probably Yasharn now. Yasharn's just going to get outmatched almost like 95% of the time. And so, yeah, so we could consider playing something like Veto here. It could be better than like having like Shadow's Verdict, as I don't think Shadow's Verdict or like Culling Ritual does anything here. Both of them are bad, and I think we would go with Shadow's Verdict just because Culling Ritual is like 1 less mana, and we can bring in the Veto, but I don't know what the Veto can hit. I think they're probably going to be much more creature based, so it's going to probably just end up hitting some of their ramp spells.
Does Deafening Silence make any sense?
I don't think so, because they're probably just going to cast creatures. Deafening Silence is really only non-creature spells.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll go with this. We'll register it.
What's the no more than 1 spell per turn? Is that the Archon?
Yeah, that's the Archon.
Okay.
So we've got green, black. This hand is loose. We can cast a Dreadbore, but that's about it in our hand. We could cast a Caryatid off the top, but we don't have one. 2 lands. I'd mulligan this, but it's close. This is 100 times better. So we're going to keep this. We're going to... It's close between the Unmoored Ego and the Vanishing Verse. Vanishing Verse is going to hit their early game, but it doesn't hit the Devoid creatures. So I'm going to say the Vanishing Verse. We'll throw that away.
Okay.
We're going to try and use Unmoored Ego as like a 3 mana Thoughtseize. So we'll lead on the Triome, and we'll kind of let them set up So we'll allow them to keep, their Lanamore elves and all of that, and we'll try and just nab the bigger cards out of their hand with Thoughtseize, Unmoored Ego, and hopefully get to a point where we can bring to light.
So what are we naming with Unmoored Ego?
We're gonna use the Thoughtseize to so here we're gonna cast the Caryatid first.
Oh.
Yeah, because they're not going to play anything on 2 that we care about. So we're going to use the Caryatid, and then we're going to use the Thoughtseize to kind of like try and find that card that we want to hit out of their hand. So we're just going to use it as like a pseudo Thoughtseize here. Yeah. We need a land, a few lands actually. Dreadbore is not great here. We'll use the Thoughtseize. See what they got going on. No Veil of Summer in this format. So their hand looks really bad. Gonna take the Cultivate here. And we'll pass the turn. So the Unmoored Ego actually looks really good here, just because Worldbreaker has the graveyard effect. So we'll be able to exile them, all of them with Unmoored Ego.
Okay.
Which will be good for us.
The graveyard effect being returning it.
Yep. So this way we'll exile them, so we won't have to worry about him bringing them back later. Oath of Nissa, pretty decent draw for them, but they really need to find some action. They're very far away from casting that Worldbreaker. Right. Even that Hydra. The Hydra isn't a concern for us as it just nabs a land, but then we can kill it with the Dreadbore. Abrupt Decay is not great here. We don't need to cast Unmoored Ego this turn, so we can just pass. Not hitting lands here is probably going to be our undoing. Had we hit lands, this game would look a little bit different. We would be, casting a Niv or something next turn.
For any reason?
No, we'll just, pass. The land is good here, so now we'll Unmoored Ego. Since next turn, if we draw a land, we're going to bring to light.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So that's why last turn we knew if we drew a land, we could still cast Unmoored Ego, and if we drew a spell, we probably couldn't cast it. So Worldbreaker here. They're still going to have the Hydra.
Oh my god. Ugh. I clicked through it.
It's all right. It's a weird card. It doesn't just take them. You actually have to take them yourselves. But again, this isn't terrible. They're not going to be able to cast. Well, okay, maybe they drew something to cast. That's really bad. So that card's the best card in this deck, in my opinion, just because it brings stuff back too. We didn't draw anything. We're not going to kill that, just because it has an effect that's going to help them. So we're just going to pass the turn here. They're going to play a Hydra, and then that's what we'll use the Dreadbore on, and then we're just going to kind of hope that we can draw a land and then outclass the Cavalier.
No blocks here.
No block. We're going to use our life as a resource here, as we're not really in any trouble. They're gonna Worldbreaker here. Oh, no, Hydra, good. I always forget when that Brine starts making 2 mana. It might be next turn. So yeah, we'll Dreadbore the Hydra, but sadly we're already classed out of this game here. We'll have to use the Caryatid. So now next turn they're going to eat a land. We've been missing our land drops. It's the same story of game 1. Had we just hit land drops, we would be all right. A Worldbreaker wouldn't be the end of the world, but it's going to be here.
Yeah, so ideally, it's not in their hand right now.
Yeah, ideally it's not in their hand. They do get to draw a card, so it could have been anything. They could have, drew an Ulamog or something like that. But yeah, here they're going to be able to crack now that Sanctum. They're going to go find an Ulamog. We have no land. Game's just over. But this is definitely like a natural predator of like the Niv deck. So it's like it's similar to that like modern question where like Tron preys on the mid-range decks that are preying on the quick decks. It's like, you know, this deck is doing something that's bigger than what we're able to do. So most of the time that's us with Niv To Light. We can just concede here. We're not winning this game.
I mean, another tap.
Yeah, tap land at this point. You know, it is what it is. We're not able to kill that World Breaker. We're gonna have to chump to stay alive. But yeah, this is definitely like a natural predator. So like normally where the deck doing the biggest thing. So that's like something that always keeps us in the games is we're like, oh, we're eventually going to play a 5-mana 6/6 flyer that draws X amount of cards. And that's going to be like good enough to like go over top of you. This deck does that. It goes over top of us where they're doing better things. So they're just a natural predator. We haven't seen this deck in a long time. And I don't particularly think it's that great, but they're kind of running under the same thing as they're trying to attack the blue-white deck. So as you'd see there, they would beat, you know, a blue-white control deck. They would just continuously make their land drops, and then they would cast World Breakers that have a trigger on the cast, Ulamogs that have triggers on the cast. And then these are recursive cards also that come back from the graveyard and things like that. So that's, I think, kind of what they're targeting to do. And I think it's, you know, very smart on their part.
Yeah. Yeah. So we are 1-2.
1-2. You know, like I said, I think we win against Claudio in match 2, but match 3 we got run over. That was just not good.
Yeah. All right. Play.
Getting a lot of the play too, so that's been really good for us. Carry added,
but I think we're 3 for 3 on the.
I think so. I think we've been on the play the entire time. Wow. All right. Keeper. Like I said, anytime we have carry added on turn 2, we're going to keep that hand. Jegantha could be a few things now, but could be Jeskai Ascendancy. That's the most common deck to run Jegantha, but a lot of people are putting it in stuff now. Even Niv, Claudio played Jegantha in his, so.
Yeah. Is this not naturally? Oh no, we have Shadow's Verdict, right?
Yeah, I prefer having Shadow's Verdict and Tolsimir. We're playing against the mirror match, which is great here. We'll play Drowned Catacombs here and play our carry added. So this is really good. Being on the play and in the mirror match is excellent. One thing that's really, really important about the mirror match is you never want to be the first person to play a Niv.
Okay. Why is that?
So here we'll lead on the Ketchum Triome, and then we'll play Klothys out. So because there's like this weird standoff, if you're somebody who has experience playing Niv mirrors, if you play a Niv, he's going to be able to untap and play a Bring to Light for Valky and then eat your Niv, and now he has an extra Niv.
Right, okay. Yeah.
And a Valky that needs to be answered. So it's this weird standoff that you're going to make. So sadly our Klothys has nothing to hit here, but that's okay. We're going to play the Triome tapped and pass the turn. But yeah, so there's that weird interaction where this whole mirror match is essentially who can cast the most Nivs, especially in game 1. So you don't want to be the first one to pull that trigger on it here. Oh, that's amazing for them. So they're going to be able to hit our Klothys here. Oh, they didn't go for it. So this is good. There aren't many answers to Klothys in Niv.
Right.
So the fact that we get to keep it, untap here, and dreadbore the Nahiri is really good for us.
It auto-selected that land, yeah?
Yeah, it's good. So we want to use red here.
Oh, so
and then,
dreadbore.
yeah, so now we can dreadbore. And we can cast a Bring to Light. So we get everything here, which is really good for us. Them discarding the land actually helped us play 2 spells this turn, which is good. So now we'll play out the Dragon Skull Summit, and we'll use our Bring to Light.
What do I need? Where do I get blue? Here?
Yep. We have all of our colors, just gotta find them. That's Niv. It's that mana base.
Red.
Yep. And then...
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, we don't want to cast a Niv here as we get like that weird thing. We're going to cast Unmoored Ego here and take all of their Nivs.
True.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to click on them this time.
So, Niv. He's got the hyphen in between his name.
Reborn. Not Perrin.
No.
I'm safe to click OK here, right? Oh no, that's what I did. Okay.
Yeah. So in their hand, they have the Scarab God. Vanishing Verse is dead. Abrupt Decay is dead. Solar Blaze doesn't kill that. So they really only have 2 cards that even do anything in their hand.
Is that
so we're looking
running 3 Niv, or am I missing?
Yeah. Nope. It's 3 Niv. Again, that's what's about this deck is you don't play 4 of anything but Caryatid, because everything else you get multiple versions of it because you play Bring to Light. Mm-hmm. So if they just slam Scarab God here, we're super happy. So we're going to eat their Nahiri. We're going to use our Bring to Light to find Valky here, eat their Scarab God, and now we have Scarab God. It's why you never want to be the first person to play something like a creature that can be eaten by Valky, because now they have to answer the Valky, and we get a dominant creature. Yeah, so good.
Okay.
Go get our Valky. So we know that they do not have an answer in their hand, so they've only had 2 draw steps. So this is where you have to click and choose which one you want on it. So Tybalt. And now down tick. Scarab God. We'll play the Overgrown Tomb tapped. Pass the turn.
Okay.
So they have almost no way to win at this point.
I should be tracking their hand better.
So they just concede. So they had practically no way to win. They had an Omnath, a Yasharn, and a Valky, and Valky doesn't actually really win the game. So they were pretty much locked at that point. So that went really well for us. Like I said, it doesn't either. They really had no better play than the Scarab God, or they weren't really thinking of Valky. So we're going to bring in the Thoughtseizes. They look great here. We're going to bring in the Dovin's Veto. We're going to bring in the Blood Baron. So Blood Baron seems like a weird card, but none of the removal kills Blood Baron in the deck. Just because everything has black for removal.
Yeah. Solar Flare. What was Solar Flare? I'm not familiar with that card.
It's Solar Blaze, I think.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a wrath, but they deal their power to themselves, all creatures.
Okay.
So it doesn't hit things like Caryatid, which is good in this deck because that's the card we never really want to wipe away. So cards we're taking out are Culling Ritual, Tulsimir. Oh, I'll let you get some. Culling Ritual, Tulsimir, Shadow's Verdict, Vanishing Verse.
Right. Both of them?
Yeah, both of them, and all the Abrupt Decays.
Okay, so we're boarding more in.
Yeah, we're going to board more in. So there's a lot of cards that are just like dead in this matchup. Honestly, even Notion Thief's not that great. We're going to be bringing in Thought Distortion.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can see just by looking at it, we only really have like 13 creatures and 4 of them are Caryatids. So most of the rest of the stuff is spells. So hitting them with the Thought Distortion is still really good. We're going to bring in the D-Spark. I'll try and speed up a tiny bit. The D-Spark. And then the last card we'll bring in is the Surrak. Depending on the version that they're playing, they might have some counter spells, so we'll bring that in. If not, it's just a 5/6. It's just a 5 mana 6/6 beater. So we can submit. So Notion Thief isn't. Notion Thief
run Thought Distortion.
Huh?
Jegantha also means you can't run Thought Distortion.
Yeah. I think that the downsides to Jegantha are too large. I think Shadow's Verdict is a good card. I think Tolsimir is like the best card against like the burn or mono red decks. So I don't think there's a lot to be gained. We'll keep this hand. Depending on the version that they are, if they don't play Thoughtseize, then they can't really tax our hand, and we're just trying to race to Bring to Light. So we will play. We won't play the Triome, actually. We'll play the Blood Crypt. We already have 4 lands, and they make all of the colors that we need. So we might hold the Triome just to cycle.
Okay, yeah.
Wow. 2 games, they didn't keep anything with a Caryatid. Strange. Yep, play the Forest and the Caryatid. So this is another thing why I like the Celestus. The Celestus is going to look really, really good in this matchup. Oh, so they kept the Caryatid, it just wasn't a creature.
Yeah.
I like the Celestus in this kind of matchup too, because most of the time they're going to board out all the things that deal with it, like Abrupt Decays and stuff like that. So it's just going to be a ramp spell that, has some utility at the end of the game too. So... because we're pretty much racing to 5 mana. Okay, so they do have Thought Seizes. This is good for us, though. We have 2 Bring to Lights, so they can't do that. Yeah. And even if they take the Celestus, they're not keeping us off of casting the Bring to Light, because we're still going to only be able to cast it on turn 4. So they only have 3 cards left in hand, so it's possible that they have like one big payoff here. We will play the... I don't really think it matters which land, either Sun Petal or Sulphur Falls. Whichever one we don't cast, we'll cast the next one the other turn, and we'll play the Celestus. So best case scenario for us here is that they untap and they play a Niv. Mm-hmm. But it is possible that they're running something like Mystical Dispute and they could play like land, Niv, hold up Mystical Dispute and get us.
Only in the mirror would anyone ever be able to say something like, hopefully they untap and slam a Niv on the board.
Like I said, it's something that comes with playing the matchup for a long time. Valky is the most important card in this matchup. It's not Niv. So it does look like they're possibly going to go for this play. They left up the Caryatid, which makes me think that they have a 1 mana interaction, which means that we could get like really punished here. Because I don't think you play a Niv just like this. So what did they hit?
Thoughtseize, you mean, or?
It could be a Thoughtseize too. So they only put Rakdos Return in their hand. Rakdos Return, very, very good against the hand that we currently have. All right. So we're going to untap. We're going to play it. We pretty much don't have any choices. Just because they have Rakdos Return, so if we wait one more turn, they're just going to make us discard our hand. So we're going to cast Bring to Light for Valky and hope that that's good enough. If they have the Mystical Dispute, they get us, but there's...
White, green, what am I missing? Red.
Mystical Dispute. Now here's a fun interaction. If
That's the one mana interaction you were worried about.
Yeah. All right. So if they have Mystical Dispute here, they're going to be in a bad spot. So there is like this weird thing about Niv where you actually let them resolve Bring to Light and then counter the Niv because it deals with 2 of their payoffs instead of 1. So Valky's down there. We'll take Valky. So if that's what they tried to do, they're going to get really punished because Tybalt can't be Mystical Disputed. So now we will...
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So like normally you would do that in like a Niv matchup is like if you were playing like blue-white control or something and they were going for Niv, you would do that there, but they're going to get punished if that was what they were doing. So Rakdos return here is going to be very good though. They're going to target it at Tybalt and get rid of our hand. So we're going to lose everything that we have, but we still have their Niv, so we'll be able to cast that. Yep.
Which 3 should we discard?
So they keep leaving up 1 mana.
Right.
Which makes me like they could have just done this for the full 4. It does make me think that they have the Mystical Dispute and maybe made that play that I was talking about. So we're not going to play the Niv here. We don't really have to and open it up to their Bring to Light. So we're going to play the Clothis out.
Oh, right. Tybalt gives you the emblem on ETB.
Yep. So like we have Niv and we can hold on to Niv for as long as we need to. We have no reason to play it right now because we could play it into their Bring to Light. And I think we're ahead right now. So they really have to do something. We don't. So we have the Celestus that can start drawing us cards and filtering through. And now we have the Clothis, which is a clock and something that's hard for our decks to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Nah. Wow, expressive iteration. So I don't think they have a land in hand, which means they have 3 spells. Something like a Thoughtseize would be really good. They keep leaving up blue.
Mm-hmm.
So here we'll eat. Doesn't really matter. If they had a creature, it would be important to take the creature because we play Kolagon's Command.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. We're not going to cast anything. We're not going to play anything because then our Celestus will trigger at the end of turn and let us cycle.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters. I don't think so. Technically, the Zygoth Triome would be the better one to discard, just because we really only have like 1 white mana, but we have a Celestus and a Caryatid, and they do very similar things. Of note, they did hit our Extinction event, so we don't have a way to deal with like their entire board at this point. Not that Caryatid's like a scary card to have. They might have Valky now. Yeah. So they have Valky. Valky can hit our Celestus here, but they're not going to do that. They're going to uptick. They hit Fortress and Steam Vent, so that's okay. At the end of turn, we'll cycle. So we're looking for a removal spell for that Valky. Not a Celestus. Oh, that's a good draw. Hold on before you click. If we expressive iteration, actually hit a land out of our graveyard.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that allows us, if we do hit a Bring to Light, we can cast it off of the iteration without hitting also an untapped land. So we'll use red on this. Again, I don't think the life is super important as they keep gaining 4 life every time they play a land with that Omnath.
Let's remember to go over Clothis decision making at some point in this video.
So red here. And and then blue from the Sulfur Falls. And we'll cast our Expressive Iteration. Oh, wow. Okay, so this is exactly why I wanted the land. So we didn't hit a land, but now we still can cast the Bring to Light. So we're going to put the Thought Distortion into our hand. And Kolagon's on the bottom, and then we're going to use the Bring to Light. And now we're going to cast the Bring to Light.
All right. Black, white,
green, and there we go.
Blue.
Any cast. Now, do they have that mystical dispute that they've been threateningly holding up?
Right.
Again, if they allow us to go get the spell that we're going to get, they'll get punished again if they do have this mystical dispute, because we're not. Yeah, we're gonna go get a Dreadbore. It sounds super like
I love it.
Terrible and like boring, but we need to get the Valky off the battlefield. So we're gonna get that Valky off.
Okay.
And pass the turn. Our Celestus is gonna trigger again here. We can discard our additional copy of Celestus. This is what I was saying. I think the card's really, really good in this deck. It fixes, and it helps filter out some of these cards that we just don't need. So they have 4 cards left. If it's not a Niv, then we're feeling pretty good here. Looks like it's a Niv though. Yeah. So what we're going to be able to do here is we're going to be able to eat probably every card they get. Yeah. So more than likely, they're not going to have any other creatures in their hand. So we're going to pretty much wipe out their hand with Thought Distortion here. And then we're going to take a shot of 10. And then we're going to be able to start doing some things. Here we got to eat the Valky. So if we eat this Valky, we can pretty much safely start playing Nivs without caring about what they're doing on their side. Okay. So we're going to play the land. Cast the Thought Distortion. And hope to God we don't get Narset reversaled. That's how I lost top 8.
Do I need another black here?
Yes.
You got Narset's reversal on a Thought Distortion?
Yeah, in top 8 today was pretty terrible.
Brutal.
It was brutal.
Was it Esper Greasefang that did it?
No. It was it was Phoenix. It's not a card that I think they all play guaranteed. So it wasn't like something I was really sure they had. But yeah, they got me, and that was my exit out of the top 8 on that one. I just instant conceded. My hand was like Bring to Light. So we get everything but their Caryatid. So
I don't need to
all good,
right?
No. This just takes everything. And then we pass the turn. So like I said, we're going to take a shot here. 10, but then we're going to be able to untap, play our own Niv, and start, generating an advantage. Wow, an iteration. They're drawing well. Iteration's really good. It allows them to... How many Bring to Lights have they used? At this point, I think... Consumes all. I'm not quite sure why that's in their deck. 2 Bring to Lights, so they have 2 left. Yeah, I'm not sure what that's doing in their deck.
Consumes all, like boarding it.
Yeah. Unless they just don't have enough cards to take out. Sure. This is fine. So take 10 here. So they have 2 cards. We know one's a kid.
12 fifths enough for consumes all. Like on its second saga step.
Yeah, it's gonna exile all the cards, but I mean, it's not that bad.
Do we need to take a land for any reason?
How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, it doesn't allow us. Wait. Let me count this again. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No. So we're good. We can take that. It's not going to allow us to play Yasharn and Niv. So we're going to play Niv here. their Niv.
Right. White.
Red on the crag.
Red. Green.
And then blue. They can't even get us with Mystical Dispute here, so that's good. All right, let's find some goodies. That's great. Fantastic. All right, so pass the turn. So they're going to eat all the graveyards here.
Is Consumes the only... I mean, Consumes and Clothis for graveyard hate in this deck?
Yep.
Are we blocking that?
Yeah, definitely. Our life total is taxed, and it's actually just their Nivs. We can go get another Niv with our Bring to Light. Looks like they drew their third Bring to Light here, which we're going to be able to... Oh, Niv. All right. So this is their last Niv also.
Oof.
Yeah. Bring to Light and Kolaghan's Command. Wow. All right. We're gonna eat one of the Nivs. Let's see if they respond with Kolaghan's Command. Just have to tap OK here.
Yeah, sorry.
Nope. Okay. So we can cast our own Niv here. Yep. We can cast our own Niv.
Oh,
off the Bring.
Kolaghan's Command?
No, with our Bring to Light, we can get our own.
Okay, yeah.
Our own Niv here.
Red. Black.
White.
Blue.
White.
I feel like it's a mini game every time we cast Bring to Light. Oh. No, we can't.
No, we'll just pay for this with the 3. Like, it's not really a big deal here. We have 3 mana open, so we'll just click.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just click OK. Pay the 3.
You think they forgot about the Celestus too?
No, I think they're finally just using this for some reason. I think they've had it for a long time. They might have 2. Oh, sure. Yep. That's fine.
What are we discarding?
Yasharn.
And we're grabbing a Niv?
Yep. So, oh, that's good. So they're gonna flip. Yeah, they're gonna flip their Consumes All here.
Yeah. Are we blocking that? I mean, oh, it doesn't have haste. Yeah.
They going for their Bring to Light. Oh wow, Scarab God too. Jeez.
Blocking that?
No.
Okay.
No, if we block it, it puts it into the graveyard for the Scarab God, and then they get to
Right. Yep.
make it. So the thing that's really hurting us here is that we lost our extinction event. Had we had our extinction event, this game would probably be over. But now it's going to be like a long, grindy game. Either Kolaghan's command or dispute. I don't think it's relevant. Play out our drowned catacombs. Play our Nahiri. And we can eat the Niv.
Does it matter a ton how I tap here?
No, because the Celestus and the Caryatid give us anything, so.
Hitting Niv, yeah?
Yep. So now we need to be careful. They're gonna try and hit our Yasharn, I think, with the Scarab God. When they do go for it, we'll use Kolaghan's command to get the Yasharn back.
Nice. Love it.
So
is this revealed for Kolaghan's command?
I think so.
We didn't want to swing there, right? I'm sorry, I skipped right through that.
It was a consideration, but our life total is really low too. So yeah, here they go. So now we're gonna Kolaghan's command that back and make them discard. You have to click on it, the one that they're targeting. And then click on them. Use anything but our Caryatid and the Celestus, since those are any mana for us. So they have another Niv, which they're going to cast here, but the thing is that they're running low on cards, and so are we. So we're kind of at like this weird stalemate where he can't really attack profitably, and we have the inevitability of our Clothis.
Right.
Niv we can't do anything about. What does he hit? Nahiri and Dreadbore. So Dreadbore is really bad for us here. We're going to counter that.
All right. Okay. White and blue.
Yeah, we can't afford to let our Niv go into the graveyard, because then he can get it back.
Okay.
So we'll eat creature. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Creature, I guess, but at this point he's used his Kolaghan's command too, so. So now we're gonna uptick the Nahiri on the Watery Grave. And then cast both of our creatures if we don't draw anything different. The Blood Baron's going to do a great job of holding down everything on the ground. So as long as our Nivs can hang around, we should be good here. So yeah, we'll play our Blood Baron.
Black? White? Yeah? Okay.
And then we'll play our Yasharn, not playing the Glacial Fortress out, just with what's left there. Because it's going to be able to get the planes, and then we'll play the planes just to conceal information.
Okay. Yeah.
And now our Clothis is also indestructible creature, so we've got a lot locked down here. We're not going to attack again, just because then it puts the Nivs back into the graveyard.
Right.
So had he not had this Omnath, he'd already be dead. Nahiri, so he's going to be able to hit our Clothis. That's a problem. Yeah.
Right.
So like I said, now we're at this weird stalemate. We take
that, right?
No, we take the hit.
But does that let us block or attack next turn?
Yeah, so it's like kind of like a little bit weird is now we get to attack with the Blood Baron and the Niv, essentially putting him pretty low. It depends what he casts here.
Right. Bring the light.
Yeah, it depends what he goes to get. I don't even know what he has left. Dreadbore, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Oof. We're gonna activate the Celestus here, but we might be conceding. Niv's actually pretty good. Throw away the land. We can cast the Niv.
White, red, black, green,
And blue.
Oh, I could have done it without tapping the...
That's all right. I think it's minimal at this point.
D-Spark's great, right?
Yeah, so we're gonna attack with our Blood Baron here.
It's completely safe. Protection from white and black, yeah?
Yep, it's completely safe.
Are we attacking Nahiri?
No, we don't really care. We're going right for the life total.
Okay.
Yeah, we gotta try and win the game. The problem is that Omnath that keeps gaining life.
Mm-hmm. We can only have so many lands, right?
Yeah. There are 27 though. That is a big problem. A lot of them get put to the bottom when you activate your nibs. Yep. We're gonna take that.
Yeah.
What's he getting with that? What is that? Niv? Oh, he's getting another Niv. Yeah, let him have it.
Oh, right. Their Niv from last turn.
Yeah. Killing their Niv. They can kind of do this like weird thing where they go off, but I don't think they have anything left to get. That's good.
Right.
So
yeah.
We're very, very, very close to just winning the game here. We're going to be able to despark the Scarab God and then Dreadbore the Omnath and then just continually attack.
Ooh.
Wow.
He's killing everything, right? Except...
Yeah, everything. All right. Let it go. Okay. I think he thought the Blood Baron would die, but it actually has protection from itself.
Yeah. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's daytime.
Yep. So we'll take that life. Oh, wow. We'll throw away the Caryatid here. Oh, wow. We'll Thought Seize the Scarab God out of his hand.
Yeah.
And that'll probably do it. We will attack with the Blood Baron on the Nahiri. See if he wants to keep it alive by jumping with the Caryatid. No. And and pass the turn. All right. He has nothing left. I don't think.
I mean, a Bring to Light.
Yeah, but I don't think he has anything left to get with it.
Yeah.
All his Nivs are gone. His Scarab God is gone. Thoughtseize. Sure.
Right?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. He had nothing left. Blood Baron. So that's what I was saying. It's something that, like, it doesn't seem good. You're like, oh, what's a 4/4 like, you know, lifelinker do? But there's just nothing that kills it. It's Extinction Event, and the good part about Extinction Event is that it also hits all of their good cards too. So even in that situation, had they for some reason played an extra Extinction Event, they would have exiled Scarab God, Niv, Hidzeku, Consumes All. Like, they would have exiled everything else that they had that was good too. So it's not that bad in the mirror match. It doesn't look like it on the face, but it's a really, really good card. Mirror, I'm so happy we got to play it. Like I said, it's a very, very, like, strange matchup because, like you said, the number one thing that you think Niv is trying to do is cast Nivs, but you don't even want to be the first person to cast Niv. The most important card is Valky. If you're in a metagame, your local game store, where there are a lot of other Niv players, the best thing I could tell you is to have another one in your sideboard, another Valky, because having two of them in the post-board games is probably going to make you win versus just having one.
Yeah, I mean, if we were able to grab one again off another Bring to Light, that game would have been over much faster.
Exactly. Instead of going to get like another Niv, we go and get that. We eat the Scarab God. Now we have Scarab God. Like, you know, that game just looks completely different. It's something back when Niv was like really on top of Pioneer that we started to see a lot of Niv decks with 2 Valky, just because he's so good in that matchup. Mm-hmm. All right, on the play again.
Yeah, I think that's 5 for 5.
Oof. All right. This is a thought. So this hand looks super good against a creature deck, and it looks really bad if we're playing against like some sort of control or other mid-range deck. We'll keep it in the dark, but it's not a great keep. But we have spells, we have lands, and we have a Bring to Light. We're just missing a Caryatid. We'll lead on the Triome here, as it's going to allow all of those other check lands to come in untapped. It does.
All of them?
You know, Yep, all of them.
Nice.
Yep, it's a mountain for the Sulphur Falls and the Summit, and it's a green for the Sun Petal. All right. Oh, is this the Burn deck or some sort of like Greasefang deck?
Yeah.
All right, we'll play the Summit. Yeah, the Summit. So we can't Vanishing Verse. That's the only negative to the Triome, but it's all right. We'll be fine. Anyway, we're incentivized to like kind of hold and culling ritual it away. Chances are they're going to play something that's 2 converted mana cost here. Oh, it's a Dreadnought deck. Well, that is something. Okay.
I mean, 2 planes. It's got to be like the mono white vehicles list that's been going
floating around. So we'll play the Sun Petal Grove here and pass the turn. So our hope here is that they play like something else with converted mana cost 2 or less, and we could sweep it all away. Mm-hmm. If not, it's still not so bad for us. We could Vanishing Verse, like something that they play here. Oh, this is great. So we're going to take a shot of 9, but
it doesn't feel great. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, really? I don't think it's that bad. The great part about this is like we have to use our life as a resource. I said it at the beginning of the video. We take a lot of damage at the beginning of turns because we're like trying to set up our game plan. So not too much to worry about. Does it matter what land we play here?
I don't think so.
Nope. So any of the lands besides the Mana Confluence, just to save life. And now the Ritual. So now we sweep up everything they have.
Yeah. We had a bunch of mana, but I don't know if we're going to be able to use it, right?
We had 3 and no, so it doesn't matter what you pick here. Had this been like turn 5, we could have picked like some green and left open a white and played like the Yasharn afterwards. But we're okay. So now whatever they do here, if it is big and scary, we have Bring to Light to find like the particular answer we're looking for. If it's not, we can just play Yasharn or Vanishing Verse it. This game looks like very, very much so in our favor. So I think we're incentivized to play the Sulfur Falls here, and then Bring to Light for Valky.
Okay.
So
that's got to be blue. That's got to be black. White,
red, and red. Got it.
In this mini game.
So Valky, and then we're gonna down tick Tybalt. Eat the Surge Hacker, and this way it probably means Valky's going to survive. I don't think they have any hasty things, so down tick. I don't think they have any hasty threats in this deck. And we'll pass the turn. Might even be able to use the Surge Hacker to kill something.
Yeah, right. Yeah. A hotshot mechanic, right? Yep.
Does this deal the Planeswalkers? It does. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Surge Hacker's great.
Wow, all right. Play the Catacombs here. And do we have a way? No. So we'll just play Yasharn. Doesn't matter. Can't hold up the Vanishing Verse 2. We'll be able to get our planes here. Yes, our opponent is commenting on Valky being cheated out. He thought it was fixed for everything, but no, it is just Cascade. We'll pass the turn back. I think Surge Hacker crews for 4, which means we're probably going to get hit by it this turn, which is going to put us 2-4.
Yeah, and also Mech Hanger can just crew it.
Oh, yes, that's true too. Ingenious Smith.
So, Tybalt, is that a fix, or is that like an errata? You know, like making it so you can't Bring to Light Tybalt. Is that?
It's like,
it doesn't feel like a glitch. It says you may cast it, right? And you can cast it for either side. Yeah, this is gonna turn on all their vehicles. Oh.
Yeah, so we're gonna get hit for 5. It's Menace, so nothing we can do about it. So we're in kind of a tight spot here, weirdly. Because we're not able to block that. We need to find, oh god. Okay. Maybe taking a 9 that turn was worse than I thought it was. All right.
The mech.
He's no matter what going to be able to use the Mech Hanger to crew, so we don't really need to kill the Smith. I think we're going to have to cycle the Triumph and Hope, so I would play out the Plains first. Use the Plains, the Forest, and the Catacombs to cycle. Should give us enough colors to find something.
Oof.
Vanishing Verse isn't going to be good enough here. I mean, let's pass and see what he does. You know, maybe he thinks we have something. We actually had a lot of decent hits. You know, Kolagon's command is good here. But colorless vehicles are something we don't interact all that well with.
Yeah, Kolagon's command would have been great here.
Yeah, would have been really, really, really good. We'll see what he does. He's got an Ox, so it's all good. He's going to crew. So Surge Hacker's Menace here, looking really good. So we can just concede, he's gonna attack. All right, weird.
Mono white vehicles.
Yeah, I think it's a good matchup. Oh, D-Spark is gonna be good here, that's great.
Right.
Culling Ritual is gonna be good still here. So we can bring in the other one. Probably Thoughtseize, but let's see what we want to take out first. If we need anything, we definitely don't want Notion Thief. That doesn't do anything. Tolsimir is not horrible, but it's not good. I would take it out. Take out the Unmoored Ego.
I've had more trouble finding this card tonight than any.
I know. It's there up there on the 3 drops. Vanishing Verse is going to be okay. Abrupt Decay is good. Dreadbore is good.
Is we could go any good for like the max? And
I think I'd rather Thoughtseize than I would it. So I would bring in 2 Thoughtseizes and then take out the Clothis. I don't think the Clothis does like too much in this matchup. And then submit from there. Yasharn's like a little shaky too. I don't think it does much, but you know, I don't know how many Thoughtseizes we really want in this matchup. Wow, this hand is very slow. Yeah, I think it's too slow. We'll have to mulligan. It's got some good cards though. This is good actually. We'll keep. It's not great, but it's good.
Can't play our...
No, but we can play the D-Spark, and we just need to hit some lands. We'll throw back the Shadow's Verdict, as I think Extinction Event is pretty much the same thing, and we have Bring to Light to get that if we need it. We'll lead on the Watery Grave. The D-Spark is okay. They could do like... They could go like more like Dreadnought, Hot Shot Mechanic, and then we can't D-Spark anything, but we just need to hit lands. If we can do that, we'll be in a good position here. And there we go, Dreadnought. So they could just... Oof. All right. Play the Fortress and pass.
For the boat?
It's not going to hit the boat. It needs to be 4 or greater. Okay. So
right.
Yeah, if they just play an Ox, we're in big trouble. But we don't really have anything to do. Not hitting a land drop there is scary. If we don't go like land, we're in big trouble. Or at least green land untapped would be good next turn. Then we could play Caryatid. But yeah, we're in a little bit of trouble here. I don't know if a mulligan to 5 would have been good. Maybe it was. Oh, Plains Ox. Yeah. So we're getting smashed here. We're slowly running out of time to do anything here. We need green source off the top, hopefully untapped. Mm-hmm. Nope. All right. Pass back. Take another shot. So probably a quick death here. Our losses are to 2 very non-meta decks, but I don't know why he tapped a mana. Weird. Okay. All right. So that's probably just dead. Even if we draw a mana here, I don't think we can survive. He can cruise
right now. Yeah.
No. No, that's the game. very, very strange ending to the video here. But yeah, even if we play the Caryatid and Chump one, it's still not going to be good enough. The D-Spark's not going to hit anything here. It's looking very awkward in our hand. Would have been good against the Surge Hacker, but not good against what he's got going on here. What we'd be looking for is like a culling ritual or something, but even that doesn't look good. Yeah, I think that's it. Very.
I never responded to their
Valky fix there. Weird ending, but still showcase the power of the deck. Yes, we went 2-3. Like I said, I think it was more a 3-2. We played against two decks that like were definitely not prepared to play against. They're just not meta decks, but the mono green deck is definitely a good deck that I think people should consider playing if the metagame stays like this one.
Yeah. So on that note, what has the metagame done? You've been in challenges and leagues since the Lurrus ban. How has that kind of shaken things up? Is Anvil still around? How much of your sideboard was decided based on some of the changes in the meta recently? Give us a quick meta breakdown.
Yeah, no. So even before the Lurrus ban, the metagame had been like shifting to either beating blue-white control or playing blue-white control. It was pretty dominant last weekend before the Lurrus ban. So I think we were getting to that point anyway, but the Lurrus ban definitely pushed that like reaction much further. The thing holding back blue-white control from being like absolutely supreme on that metagame was the fact that you could play decks with Lurrus and be able to have like that second ability of, playing Lurrus, getting back all of the things they swept away. So it definitely pushed the meta to change with that. It affected my sideboarding for this particular deck immensely. So like I was saying at the beginning of the video, most of the time, if you're going to go on, MTG Goldfish and look up Niv To Light, you'll always see 3 or 4 fatal pushes in the list, and I play 0 just because I don't think you need that many removal spells anymore. The problem before was that you would remove, and then they would play Lurrus, and then you'd have to remove again. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to do that anymore. So I decided that I didn't need those slots, and those slots I could flex to beating blue-white control, which is why I brought the Thought Seizes into the deck, where I think that helps us clear a path to land some of our more important spells. But the metagame is already making that shift. We saw it actually a little bit in the league. We didn't see any blue-white control, and we saw all decks that beat blue-white control. So the mono red deck, it's pretty simple why it does. It's the most aggressive you can be. It has reach. So a sweeper isn't what's gonna make it undoing. It's gonna be able to get those extra points of damage just by drawing off the top of its deck. And then we saw the vehicles deck at the end there. I think that it's definitely not a metagame deck, but it actually is very, very good against control. Not being able to sweep up the vehicles with Supreme Verdicts and things like that definitely makes it more appealing because it can attack from that different axis. The mono green deck, I've kind of talked about it a few times and raving about it, but I think is a great metagame choice for the decks that are preying on blue-white control, and it beats blue-white control. It just kind of goes over top of them, similar to like the modern Tron, where Tron is really good against control decks because it has a lot of mana and it's just going to keep casting big spells, and you need to have your answers line up perfectly against it. And then Niv To Light we played against, and I think Niv To Light is a good choice because it preys on all the decks that are trying to beat blue-white control, and if you tune your sideboard to beat blue-white control, you have a really, really good matchup for it. I think the format is still super healthy. Even though Lurrus is out, some people might think like, oh, aggro is dead. I know that's the like natural reaction to Lurrus being gone, but it's definitely not dead. It just needs to look a little bit different. And I think honestly the metagame's better for that.
Yeah. How in depth into Clopas do we need to go? Are there like decision points that you want to talk about?
Yeah, we can go over it a little bit. So one, I think it's a really, really good card. I know some people like to cut it just because it feels like it doesn't do a lot in like a lot of matchups. But it's those extra life points that I was talking about. We saw it a few times where we're trying to set up, and so like we're going to take a lot of damage from those aggressive decks, and Clothis is going to be able to like gain those points back, and it does it at like a weird time point. It's not like one spell that brings back all of the life. It does it slowly. So for a lot of decks, like, you know, decks that have like either Skullcrack or even Rolling Vortex, you know, they need to keeping up mana to be able to interact with it. The thing to remember is that it can hit lands to make you additional lands at the beginning of your main phase. So it's something that you might kind of forget, but it can help you. We saw it in that game where it was able to like allow us to double spell to be able to like kill and cast Bring to Light. So that was really important. It's a good card. It's not a card you want more of, but it's definitely a card that's hard to remove and that has like an inevitability to it, where like it's just going to eventually kill your opponent if they just ignore it all game. It helped us in that Niv To Light matchup. We gained a ton of life, and we were able to kind of just like take hits from their opposing Niv, knowing that like we were, you know, going to gain back a third of what they were doing just on the next turn.
Yeah. Which of these cards, main deck or sideboard, are kind of like your inclusions? I haven't seen Celestus, but I haven't looked at a Niv Mizzet list in a long time.
I can't take credit for Celestus. I saw somebody having it. I don't see many players with it, but it was something that I really loved. I hope that this league showcased its power. I think it's just kind of exactly what this deck is trying to do. We are always looking for more mana. We want to have and be able to cast as many spells as possible. And a lot of the times in the late game, we draw lands. 27 lands is a lot with 4 carry added too. So like they are kind of like pseudo lands. So we really have like a ton of mana sources, and we don't really want those late in the game. So I think it's really, really strong. The additional life points actually matter too. The changes that I made are the three thought seizes are me. I put all of those in, moving out the fatal pushes, and I wanted to go without Jegantha. So I don't think Jegantha's worth what you have to sacrifice for it. I think Talsamir is super, super good, and I think Shadow's Verdict is good, and the Thought Distortion is also something I put in just because I think my whole game plan is trying to beat control in the sideboard.
Great, yeah. How about Culling Ritual main board? Is that a recent addition?
Yeah, so that's
been going up in play and cost. So
yeah, so honestly, it's really, really good in the current meta. You kind of touched on it before. Our Anvil deck's gone. Kind of. They're just now really just Jund. There's no incentive to be just red-black anymore because you don't get Loris.
Right.
So it just makes more sense to play Mayhem Devils and like Karn the Great Creator or Bolas' Citadel and things like that. And that card is...
It's like, why aren't you just playing Jund Food?
Exactly. So most of them are playing Jund now, which I still think is an Anvil deck at the end of the day. It's the same like strategy of deck. So if you play Anvil, you just become Jund Food at this point. And Culling Ritual is absolutely bonkers in that matchup. It just absolutely like it just honestly it just wins the game. There's no way for them to play like in a way that they get to keep anything around. So it's just so good, and it makes mana. So we didn't really get to see any of that, but the black and the green that it leaves over can sometimes allow you to double spell, which is huge. If you're able to sweep something up and play something afterwards, you're just going to be in a much better spot. It's why, you know, we have another one in the sideboard because it just wins a few of those matchups, and it has extra bonus points. I mean, it's good against Winota. It's good against mono red. It's just a decent sweeper, so there's not much like downside to putting it in your main board.
Yeah, we didn't see any Anvil today. We didn't see Jun Food today, and we didn't see Winota today. Those were all matchups I would have liked to see. Maybe less so Anvil, because it looks like we're pretty ready for Anvil. But I would have liked to see the Winota matchup. Have you run into it?
Yeah, so I played Winota once or twice, definitely once though, in the challenge today that I top 8'd, and I definitely played it twice yesterday. I don't think it's that bad of a matchup. I know that they probably think they're favored, but I would say it's much more 50-50. When they're on the play and they play like a Winota on turn 3, yes, definitely they're going to win. But I mean, I think that's always when they're going to win. Yeah. But we have a lot of stuff to be able to remove what they've got going on. And our sweepers are very, very good against them. So I won the matchup today, and I won it yesterday. I think we're very, very good against it, but I think that the deck is really, really good in the current meta, as blue-white control does kind of struggle to keep up with it.
If somebody were to bring this deck right here to Indy next weekend, are there any little tweaks you would make before they do that? And are there a couple things that you want to make sure they remember while they're playing the deck?
Yeah, sure. So I can do like a little, I said a lot of those things during the video, but I guess a little cheat sheet or notes on it. One, sequencing your lands is super, super important. Making sure that you can cast a turn 2 Caryatid every time is the most important thing. So every time you open up your opening hand, if you don't have one, you need to sequence in a way that if you draw it off the top, you're going to be able to play it on turn 2. So you need to play a green land or have a green land that can come in untapped on turn 2 so that you could play it. It's our most explosive start, is being able to go turn 2 Caryatid into whatever else comes after that. So definitely, you saw me say it a few times. Game 1, when you have no clue what the opponent's playing and you have, a turn 2 Caryatid and you can play it, you're going to keep that hand. It doesn't really matter what the makeup of the rest of your hand is. We have so many powerful spells that even if you don't have them in your hand, you'll eventually draw them and you'll be able to cast them ahead of curve, which is what this deck is trying to do. Another thing to keep in mind is that you have a lot of silver bullets, so you don't have to worry too much about sideboarding for every single matchup. You can kind of hedge a little bit in your main board. So even if you bring this deck to SCG Indy, it can look very different than this because you can kind of put those silver bullets that you think are going to be very, very good for the matchups that you think you're going to run into. So it's definitely something to consider. And if you're ever playing the mirror, do not cast Niv Mizzet first. It's the worst play you can make. You need to wait until they cast it, and then you can cast Valky over top.
Mm-hmm. Great. Yeah. One question I had throughout the league, and maybe it's just because of the Niv decks I used to play against, is Shadow's Verdict and Tolsimir definitely enough main board to ditch Jegantha? Is there a case to be made to have a sideboard plan that kind of shuts off Jegantha and keep the main board Jegantha compatible?
So definitely Shadow's Verdict could not be in the deck. I would admit that. I don't think it's absolutely necessary to be in the main board. There's a lot of other different sweepers that you can play. We saw our opponent playing Solar Blaze. You could play, more culling rituals, another extinction event. There's a lot of different sweepers. Personally, I'm super high on Tolsimir. You saw in the mono red matchup that we cast a turn 4 Bring to Light and we went and got Tolsimir. And we did that twice. We didn't go get Niv. We didn't go get Valky, some of our more powerful spells. We went and got Tolsimir. Tolsimir completely wins the aggro matchup on turn 4. You get 2 creatures, you gain 3 life, and you kill something on the other side. I think it's too important to be able to do that in game 1 than it is to have Jegantha. So Jegantha, a lot of the times, is just 5 mana, 5/5.
Right.
It's very, very rare that, you know, you're getting to use its mana ability, and it's very, very rare that it sticks around. It costs 8 mana to really get that 5/5 too, and we always have things to do. If we could put Jegantha in our hand on turn 1, fine. But after turn 1, we're always doing something.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very rare that we're just like, oh, we have nothing to play on turn 3. Most of the time, like I said, that's why there's like definitely the least amount of 3-drops in the deck than there is anything else. We mostly go from 2 to 4. So I don't really think that Jegantha is great. I think that you lose too many things. You know, like I think Thought Distortion's good. I think Shadow's Verdict is necessary to have in some matchups. But I do think that of the cards that you're trying to get into your deck, Shadow's Verdict is definitely the first card I would cut out of my entire list at this point than anything else. I think Shadow's Verdict was really important when Loris was around because it exiled all of those little things. Now we don't really need that, so I definitely would be maybe incentivized to play something like Solar Blaze or like Supreme Verdict over Shadow's Verdict. But I am 100% on no Jegantha, but some other people would say otherwise.
Yeah, and not to get into like the real weeds here, but is it worth it to have a Jegantha in the sideboard for the games where we boarded out Tolsimir, which were 2 or 3 of the games?
Every game that we sideboarded it out, we brought in Thought Distortion.
Okay. Yep. Beautiful.
So that's the argument too, is like, I think like when you're playing against control, would you rather have your Jegantha available or have a Thought Distortion in your 60 cards?
Oh yeah.
I'd rather have a Thought Distortion.
Yeah.
So for me, that's where the case comes from. I think that it's so good in the aggro matchups, and I think that Thought Distortion is so good in the control matchups that I just don't see the point of having Jegantha.
Yeah.
Good luck to everybody who's going to SCG Indy this coming weekend. And if you do play Niv Mizzet, I swear to God, you're going to at least have fun.
Yeah, no, that was absolutely very fun. I love toolbox decks, and Bring to Light is one of those, you know, it's one of the most easily executed toolbox decks, I think, versus like Enigmatic Incarnation, you know, where it's like, but brewing these decks, you know, like, as long as you see a card that you love with, you know, for FNMs, right? Not for Indy next weekend. But if you're playing Niv Mizzet, Bring to Light at an FNM, and you have a pet card that has 2 different color mana pips in it,
put it in,
right?
Put it in. We touched a little bit on it earlier, but there isn't really any wrong cards that you could be playing. If it at any point in time can help you win a game, it's worth putting it in. It's just 1 card, and you get a whole bunch of extra copies because of Bring to Light in it. It's definitely a deck. If we're talking, you know, just local game store, it's definitely probably one of the better decks to have built to play in your local game store. As you probably know the meta of your local game store, and if you can tune a toolbox deck to the meta, you're probably always going to win. So that's something that this deck has in that flexibility, is that if you know the meta and you're confident what people are going to be bringing to it, and you put all the cards that are going to beat those things into it, you're going to win the game. And that's what Niv lets you do. Bring to Light is definitely the least restrictive of the toolbox cards. So yeah, if you're bringing it to your local game store, go for it, have fun, and put any card inside. At some point in time, you'll cast it and you'll feel good about it.
Well, thank you for coming back again. We'll be back maybe next week, probably 2 weeks out. I think we probably need one weekend off. And again, happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Hope to see you again soon.
Yes, sir. Have fun in Indy, everyone.